and the court-ordered block on President Trump's $1.8 billion settlement fund, compensating those who claim to have been victims of a weaponized government. The fund to be blocked until further notice from the court. The Trump administration appealing another federal judge's ruling ordering the president's name removed from the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. The administration argues that the president's hand-picked board should be able to add a secondary name to the facility. A long night of violent storms across the Midwest. In Illinois, ABC's Alex Perez.
Here in Streeter, there are personal belongings scattered everywhere. Just a reminder of how powerful this storm was. Now, the difficult process of assessing the damage is only just beginning, but officials here say, thankfully, there are no reports of any fatalities.
SpaceX to be on the New York Stock Exchange, or the NASDAQ, actually. It's not trading quite yet. It can take time for brokers to set up all their buy and sell orders, but it's just about for its first trade. This is ABC News. It's now increasingly likely that the reauthorization for FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, will expire by the end of today. ABC's Jay O'Brien with more on what that could mean.
Without FISA Section 702, if these intelligence agencies wanted to surveil a foreigner abroad, which is the purpose of it, right, they would have to go through the normal process of getting a warrant, getting a judge to sign off, et cetera, et cetera. And if you have to do that individually for every single case of communications that you're accessing, intelligence officials and top administration officials have said that is just going to be too cumbersome to work at the speed in which we need to work.
Several lawmakers protesting President Trump's pick of Bill Pulte as the interim director of national intelligence, saying that he has no experience in intelligence whatsoever. Officials are still searching tornado-damaged areas after strong storms barreled across Illinois last night. They pounded communities south of Chicago. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The FIFA World Cup crowds are already growing in Seattle, but first, KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Harborstone Credit Union. The roads look great on this Friday morning. Linwood to Seattle, about 17 minutes. Bellevue to Linwood is about 60 minutes. There's a few brake lights from Federal Way to Seattle. It'll take you about 40 minutes. Lake Bridges east and westbound have some delays, but are mostly clear. Earn up to $30 per month just for using your Harborstone PNW Cashback debit card. Open your free checking account online today, harborstone.com/cash.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Katrina Gashard. The World Cup crowds are already here, with more arriving this weekend as Seattle plans to host hundreds of thousands of fans. 7 seismic sensors are deployed at Seattle Stadium. Pacific Northwest Seismic Network Director Harold Tobin says Lumen Field is famous for loud fans that rattle the region, and he says there's scientific reason for that.
The geology around the waterfront edge, the area near where the stadiums are in Seattle, is a place that's conducive to actually amplifying that shaking, making the waves stronger, making the shaking worse.
Tobin says they'll stream live seismic data throughout Seattle's 6 matches. Lime is ramping up operations for the World Cup. KIRO 7 TV's Lindsay Sheldon explains.
Lime saying that they'll add dedicated valet parking areas for scooters and bikes near event venues and create designated drop-off zones. All of this to keep sidewalks clear. They also plan on giving away thousands of free helmets.
Every time you ride with Lime, you can also take a helmet selfie through our app to be able to get a discount on that ride.
Another way to help fans save money, Lime has a limited time fan pass, up to 90 minutes of riding for about $13.
The Puyallup tribe is celebrating the World Cup with a parade in Tacoma tonight. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi reports.
The parade starts at 7:30 at 38th and Portland Avenue. It will end at the Tribal Administration campus. It's going to be a welcome ceremony there and then fireworks at 10:30. Now, if you're driving, road closures you need to be aware of. Portland Avenue between East 40th and East 29th, along with parts of East 38th and East 30th. These closures start around 2 o'clock in the afternoon and could last until about 11 p.m. In Tacoma, Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
More than 100 firefighters battled a massive warehouse fire in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood Thursday evening. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin reports one firefighter was hurt.
But thankfully, they are expected to be okay. They were just treated here on scene, not taken to the hospital. SFD says after 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, several 911 calls for the flames shooting out of that building started coming in. More than a dozen engines and over 100 firefighters were called in. Although they do not know what caused the fire, crew said that it was wind-driven and it spread pretty quickly.
It sounded like bombs going off. It was kind of scary. It was very scary.
It did take about 2 hours for them to knock most of that fire down.
As temperatures climb this weekend, Piers Transit is offering free rides to cooling centers and shelters. The agency says anyone traveling to or from a cooling center can ride free buses, runner service, or shuttle paratransit for registered customers. Riders simply need to tell the driver they're headed to a cooling center or shelter. Now to your weather. Sunshine today will be in the mid-70s, low 80s tomorrow, then record-setting upper 80s and even lower 90s Sunday and Monday. Right now, it's about 59 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Oh no, y'all aren't ready. Y'all are not ready. Well, maybe we are. Good morning. Welcome to the Gee and Ursula Show on this, I don't know, is it fresh or flex?
Funky fresh. It's funky Friday.
Fresh as we flex. Gee and Ursula are out today, but I'm Angela Poe Russell along with Greg Tomlin. Good morning to you.
Thrilled to be back with you, Angela. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I have to say, I see you in a different light because I got a chance to hear Greg sing. I will talk about it more later, but let's just say your voice is angelic.
Oh, my.
I love your voice.
Well, Angela, when you said I might come check out the show yesterday, I thought that was just something nice you say to someone when you're on the air together. But then when you showed up with your husband, I thought, she's for real. She follows through.
We should totally hang out sometime.
But yeah, it was wonderful to see you last night, and it was a fun show. Thanks so much for coming. We had a blast at ASA on Mercer Island, rocking out.
Yes. Wow, what a repertoire. So we'll talk about it more later. But Nick, good morning to you. How you doing on this
Good morning.
Friday?
Yeah, glad to be Friday, man.
All right. Well, shall we get to our top 5 stories?
Let's
brought
do this.
to you by Pendergast Law. After weeks of debate and protests, Seattle city officials announced changes in its approach to violence, human trafficking, and prostitution on Aurora Avenue. The mayor, the city prosecutor, council members, they shared the news during a press conference yesterday at City Hall. I want to lay out some of the changes for you, and then we can talk about it. Mayor Katie Wilson said she is closing streets between 96th and 102nd, an effort to prevent cars from circling the neighborhood. This comes after neighbors there have been putting makeshift barriers on their streets and staged a march last weekend. Meanwhile, City Attorney Erica Evans laid out some plans of her own. The city attorney typically handles misdemeanor cases only, but she wants to change that and is requesting funding for a full-time prosecutor. Take a listen.
To have a dedicated, duly deputized prosecutor in my office that will work on felony trafficking cases on Aurora. This is going to be in partnership with the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. Again, something new, never done before.
That person, she says, can ask for what's known as extreme risk protection orders to be levied against those seen as facilitating violence there. Those orders are commonly used in cases of mental illness or domestic violence. It basically allows a judge to temporarily stop a person from having a gun, even if criminal charges haven't been filed yet.
We will use this tool to target traffickers on Aurora, and violent offenders who threaten any parts of our city.
But wait, there's more. Evans is also putting businesses on notice, saying if they become a hub for trafficking, shootings, or criminal activity, she's going to use the chronic nuisance ordinance to shut them down. And with that, she's asking for the public's help.
So to the public, I want to make clear to please call 911 when you are seeing criminal activity happening at businesses. Because with 3 reportable police incidents in 12 months, we're able to shut businesses down.
Now, Public Safety Chair Bob Kettle, this again on the City Council, weighed in and threw a bit of a wet blanket on the mayor and the city attorney.
I'm not overly confident right now that this press conference or the community march that I attended on Saturday night will accomplish our goals or stop this, basically the standard running to stand still that we see in our city when it comes to public safety.
Kettle said the city has been focused on compassion without an equal effort to enforce accountability. He pointed to a failure to enforce ordinances like SOAP or to utilize tools like automated license plate readers. SOAP, you'll recall, was passed a couple of years ago. It allowed prosecutors to ask judges for stay-out orders for anyone found to be associated with the prostitution in the area around Aurora. If anyone with an order attached to their name was found in that area, they could be arrested. Evans chose not to enforce this because she says her experience shows it's been ineffective. So, Greg, the bottom line here is that the neighbors, we've been knowing this is an issue for a long time. The neighbors said, do something. They're putting up barriers. They're marching. The city came together and said, okay, here's our plan. What is your reaction to it all?
Yeah, in some regards, better late than never. It was nice to see some of the heavy hitters of city leadership at this press conference. Erica Evans, Katie Wilson, Deborah Juarez, Joy Hollingsworth. Mayor Katie Wilson said she's closing down streets between 96th and 102nd in an effort to prevent cars from circling neighborhoods. There's been some shootings recently in that area. And yes, you're correct. I mean, we've known about these problems on Aurora for years, but there has been an uptick in shootings and violence, and police data bears that out more recently. And at the same time, I failed to see how this addresses root causes. It might be a nice temporary first step in taking a look at Aurora and attempting to address this issue here. But long term, it's dubious on whether or not I think this is going to be a permanent type of fix. I'll be really interested to hear what the neighbors, residents, and the community up there thinks about this initial plan. I know they've been calling for the closing of some streets for some time, but you don't want to make that permanent. I mean, that's a nightmare for neighborhoods, and that inhibits people from traveling around freely. It can also inhibit emergency vehicles from accessing certain streets and whatnot. So again, maybe desperate times call for desperate measures here. But I mean, trafficking is in part caused by addiction, homelessness, poverty, and also demand. So I don't know what this plan does to address any of those root causes. Street closures, going after guns in a creative way, again, might be a decent first step in my estimation, but Seattle has still not figured out a way to address some of the fundamental problems here. What's your reaction?
It's interesting. I want to zoom in on something you said about root causes, because I don't know if you recall, but during the mayoral campaign, Bruce Harrell got a lot of flack for trying to talk about root causes. And because it's almost you can't win, right? They talk about root causes and they're like, yeah, but you're not dealing with the problem. So then you talk about dealing with the problem and folks are saying, well, you're not dealing with root causes. I think it has to be both.
You got to start somewhere.
You have to start with both. My frustration has been that Seattle has leaned too much on trying to solve root causes. I think you have to. But the analogy that I'll use, it's like if I see a rat running around and I say, well, I want to understand what's causing the rat to run around when I need you to kill the rat. Okay. And I need you to kill the rat and I need you to figure out where the rat is coming from.
No
and
catch
why.
and release in the Angela Poe Russell household with the rats.
So in this case, it was actually refreshing for me to see them trying to treat a symptom, because I think our strength has been trying to address root causes. But I agree. This particular plan, they did not address that. I'm glad they're getting to the surface. But let's talk about the root causes, because I hope that's on their radar too. I do feel like what's been missing from this discussion is the people at the center of it. The fact that still in this state, it's a misdemeanor to, try to hire a prostitute. And if it's a misdemeanor, which means a slap on the wrist, I don't know that that's going to deter demand. And then you have the women and girls at the center of this. I struggle when they try to say, well, it's racist to not enforce this, or it's racist to enforce this. And I'm like, I think it's racist, I'm throwing around the term right now, that the majority of girls being trafficked are Black girls. Yeah. And what's causing that? What's being done to address that? Why are they the most vulnerable in this situation?
It's Black and brown people who are being victimized the most when it comes to this. And it's an outrage. Exactly right. But in this case, I mean, nothing I don't think is going to stop these traffickers from simply relocating and getting more creative in their evasive tactics here. I mean, when it comes down to root causes, that's one thing, but I also fall down on the side of just having zero tolerance for this stuff.
Exactly.
Zero tolerance.
Exactly. It's both. It's got to be, when you're in leadership, it has to be both. You have to kind of treat the problem that we're seeing right now and say zero tolerance. We're going to shut down the businesses. We're not going to have this on our street. And we've got to look at it at the other end with how do we prevent this and stop the demand. 100% agree. And what do you think of, so in terms of Bob Kettle coming in with, focused on the license plate readers, have you been tracking all that at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And which city recently just said we're no
Was it
longer in
Edmonds?
I think it was.
I think it was
And there's
Edmonds.
some other cities around the country that
About
are no
30.
longer doing that either. I always find it very fascinating, this discussion between security, privacy, and freedom. And it goes round and round and round. And every once in a while, we go too far to where we feel like, hey, wait, are we living in George Orwell's 1984 here and Big Brother and the all-seeing eye? And it's Saruman who can track our every step. And at the same time, I mean, if you talk to those in law enforcement, cameras can be a very useful tool in catching the bad guys. And once again, to go back to data and statistics, it bears that out. And so it's an important conversation to have. There's an important tension to be had between all those concepts. And it's always fascinating for me to kind of sit back and watch where the debate is going at any given point in time. Right now, I think there's more wariness on this issue because of the Trump administration's immigration policy specifically. And some people see him and his tactics as going too far. And so that now we have less of a tolerance, especially in the Seattle area, for things like cameras everywhere. If it was a different administration, we might be more open to it, and ebbs and flows and back and forths and so on and so forth. Where do you come down on all that?
I tend to like the cameras, and
I do too, generally.
I do get the tension between, okay, because of the administration and what's going on, but you have to kind of, often when you're in leadership, there is no perfect answer. I mean, you're between a rock and a hard place on any given decision. And so I recognize that it may make some people vulnerable, but it will make other communities vulnerable when they can't get to the people committing the crimes who just did. I mean, I always tell the story about my husband just driving through the neighborhood and bullets flying, and a bullet goes through his car, hits the radio. Did they ever catch those people? If we had cameras in those areas that could, read the license plates, would that have been a different situation? I think about, it's a high profile case, but the Savannah Guthrie, her mom, and how she just disappeared without a trace and no cameras anywhere. I mean, do you see what I mean about the no perfect solution? Like there.
Oh, no question about it. And
you have to decide what to prioritize.
Yeah, and the phrase that comes to mind for me is, what's the most desirable trade-off? Because, again, you're not going to find a solution that goes, oh, my gosh, this works for everybody in all situations at all times. You go, no, it's almost a bit of a utilitarian way of thinking about it. But this is going to help the most people at this end. Will there be some that might be adversely affected from this? Yes, but we're willing to make that trade-off because the other trade-offs are less desirable and hurt more people in the meantime.
Well said. The city of Seattle, once again, paying out due to a lawsuit. This one goes back to 2020 when a father and son were pepper sprayed during a protest over George Floyd at Westlake Center. As part of the settlement, Armand Avery will receive $50,000, and Avery's son, identified in court filings as J.A., will receive $100,000, which will be held in a trust. Avery filed the lawsuit in April of 2022, alleging the Seattle Police Department used excessive force against Avery and AJ, who is 7 years old at the time, while they were peacefully protesting. The pair went to the hospital for treatment and were diagnosed with chemical burns, according to the lawsuit. More than 13,000 complaints were filed with the Office of Police Accountability over the protest May 30th. In September that year, 2020, the office found the use of pepper spray was in line with the police department's policy. OPA said that body-worn video showed the officer who used the pepper spray was targeting a woman who had grabbed another officer's baton. When the woman ducked, some of the spray hit the child and his father. What's your reaction to that case?
Some people say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. I would say that a picture is worth 1,000 lies. The picture of this young person who was pepper sprayed went viral at the time, and it was used to fuel narratives about police officer excessive force and, oh, look how bad law enforcement is. They're just out here willy-nilly pepper spraying children, and what an outrage. It's disgusting. I mean, I think of one of the most famous images of a child suffering, and that is of Thi Kim Phuc from Vietnam. Remember that child who's running after...
My Lai.
Okay, thank you, yes. And whenever you see a picture of a child suffering, I mean, it's just the most visceral, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching thing. Okay, but that's a still image. What about context? Okay, so when we look into the context, Seattle's Office of Police Accountability investigated the incident, concluded that the officer did not intentionally target the child. According to the OPA, officers were confronting a protester who had allegedly grabbed an officer's baton and was pushing into the police line. Officer reaches for pepper spray, sprays at the person, ducks, and it hits a kid. Okay, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It makes me have more sympathy for our officers who put themselves in harm's way on a daily basis to protect and serve. And $150,000 reward for this, I don't think it's personally justified or warranted here. And I question the judgment of any parent who's going to bring, how old was this child? A 7-year-old?
7 years old.
7 years old to these protests that were, I'm looking for the right phrase to describe it, but there were some scary situations down there. I mean, it was pretty ruckus. There was direct confrontations with police, sometimes physical confrontations with police. And I don't know. It bothers me that $150,000 is being doled out here.
I'm glad you brought that up. And Chef, I don't know if you want to weigh on this, but when do you bring your child to a protest? Because I did take my children to a protest after the killing of George Floyd.
Same.
And I think it was important to do so. However, as soon as I started seeing stuff turn, we got the heck out of there. I mean, we were there for everything was peaceful, things were fine. And then, you're there a certain amount of time and you have a couple people that start, it's never a majority of people. It'll be, a few folks and they start, creating some trouble. And that's when I was like, okay, we're getting out. Where is your line on that, Chef?
I mean, I wouldn't personally bring them to downtown Seattle for a protest. We went to marches in Edmonds and elsewhere. But at the same time, this image, you're right, Greg, was used out of context. And I hate it when those narratives happen because there were also legitimate instances and continue to be of, police abuse of power. But bringing kids, it's a hard line, man, because if you believe that an injustice has truly happened, sometimes the public needs to see and be horrified by the authorities in charge in order to care. And I go back to, the civil rights protest, and it was young people who were often the subject of, the water cannons and the police dogs. And the public outcry because of that, I mean, in addition to, the other images, that was a major driver in changing hearts and minds. So sometimes it does, the public does have to step up, even kids, even old people, clergy, etc., in order for the public to pay attention to an issue.
I know for me, I'm always trying to teach my kids. And so here was this moment and I wanted them to, they knew what was going on and for them to be a part of making their voice heard. But as soon as things turn and I see stuff that I just think is not okay, then we get out of there. But I think there's also just lessons in there that we're constantly trying to teach our kids about how we show up. I always want my kids to speak up for injustice in a way that works for them, and I'm proud of that.
Greg Tomlin and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show on this busy Friday morning. Stick around, lots more to come. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise, there's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Insulation rebates from PSE are at historic highs. American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $3 million in PSE insulation rebates last year. More than any contractor in Washington. Homeowners, business owners, and PSE trust American Crawl Space and Pest Services. Was your home built before 1990? Visit AmericanCrawl.com to see how much you can save on replacing your insulation.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Spike O'Neill here for Ageless Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery and she was home the next day. But we weren't sure if we were ready or equipped to give the kind of care that she needed, so we called Ageless Living and asked about respite care. A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Ageless Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to agelessliving.com/spike and schedule a visit. It can be a much-needed break for a caregiver and a chance for you and your family to get a look and a taste of what Ageless Living offers. That's agelessliving.com/spike.
Home Comfort Alliance, a Carrier factory authorized dealer delivering efficiency, reliability, and quiet performance every time. John Curley here. Upgrade to Carrier cooling and get a heating system free. Use their 60-second price estimator at homecomfortalliance.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate. And there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
To all lovers of pop culture, science fiction, comics, wrestling, anime, and movies, Washington State SummerCon is next weekend at the Washington State Fair and Event Center in Puyallup. Meet over 130 celebrity guests from Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, DC, Demon Slayer, One Piece, and 5 WWE Hall of Famers. Meet the Fonz, Henry Winkler, Jay and Silent Bob, Steve from Blue's Clues, all 5 Teen Titans, and even Deadpool's iconic pet, Dogpool. Visit wassummercon.com to purchase tickets.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com. Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com. Whatever the heat index, stay cool this summer. Your local Bryant dealer can make sure your system is up to the task. Whether it's maintaining your current system or installing an energy-efficient Bryant Evolution cooling system with perfect Humidity Plus technology, your dealer will give you what you need to help your family beat the heat. Learn more and schedule an appointment with a factory-authorized dealer today at BryantNorthwest.com. That's BryantNorthwest.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Well, I'm sure by now you've heard interviews with a whole lot of people who took the First Mark Challenge and saved so much money on their insurance and got better coverage too. We call them First Mark victories. Well, I took the First Mark Challenge too, and I'm thrilled to say that First Mark is saving us thousands. Now, that's what I call a victory. You know, I was with the same agent for so long, I simply assumed they were working hard to get me the best coverage and save me money. But it wasn't the case, and you should find out too by taking the First Mark Insurance Challenge. First Mark works for you, not the insurance carriers. First Mark will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage, which could leave you at risk for financial loss. Then they carefully search the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit, and that's it. First Mark Insurance has helped thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance and save them thousands, me included. Be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Take the First Mark Challenge right now. It's totally free. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. A federal judge in Virginia issued an injunction blocking the Trump administration from establishing a $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund to benefit President Trump's political allies. ABC's Alex Mallon has more.
Judge Leonie Brinkema expressed deep skepticism in a hearing that senior officials have not put their commitment to not move forward with the fund in writing and under penalty of perjury. Brinkema repeatedly cited President Trump's own words, suggesting he's disappointed that the government might not establish the fund after bipartisan condemnation that threatened to derail a government spending bill last month. Alex Mallon, ABC News, Washington.
World Cup fever is sweeping Seattle and the globe as Team USA plays its first match tonight against Paraguay. Former U.S. national team and Sounders goalkeeper Casey Keller grew up in Washington. He spoke with Jason Rands on Seattle Red 770 AM, and he says he's excited to see what Team USA can do in the Seattle when they come to Seattle and face off against Australia on the 19th.
I was in the stadium a month ago, I think, and the pitch looked incredible.
Tickets for that match with Australia are sold out. Other Seattle matches are still available, though, on the FIFA website. Change is coming to fight gun violence and human trafficking along Aurora Avenue in North Seattle. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has details.
Surrounded by city and county elected officials and SPD Chief Sean Barnes, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson said major changes are now scheduled to try to eliminate violent crime and trafficking along the Aurora Avenue North Corridor.
I have directed SDOT to systematically close streets at North 102nd, North 100th, North 98th, and North 96th Street.
The roads will be shut down in about 2 weeks and will remain closed at least until the end of summer. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
A Washington congresswoman is pushing for research into better pain management for miscarriage patients.
Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez recently suffered a miscarriage and took medication to help her body expel the retained tissue. She says she was told that she might experience slightly stronger cramping than during a typical period. But she says it turned out to be much worse than childbirth. And she says women who suffer miscarriages aren't offered anything beyond ibuprofen for the pain.
This is the functional equivalent of offering someone a stick to chew on.
She wants Congress to direct the National Institutes of Health to study ways to better manage miscarriage pain. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
There's finally some new hardware for the Seahawks to show off. The Super Bowl champions received their rings last night during a private team ceremony. In a video posted on social media, the rings were dramatically lowered from the ceiling in individual boxes to where each player was seated. The rings are packed with details honoring the team's 50th season, the players, and of course, the 12s. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. The roads are still looking pretty good this Friday. Linwood to Seattle still 17 minutes. Bellevue to Linwood about 60 minutes. There's a few brake lights from Federal Way to Seattle right now. It'll take you about 40 minutes. Lake Bridges, east and westbound, have some delays, but still looking good. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial 97.3 HD2. For your forecast, sunshine today will be in the mid-70s. Right now, it's about 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Greg Tomlin and Angela Poe Russell in on this Funky Fresh Friday for the Gee and Ursula Show. Well, here's a tease for you. Your child's very first best friend might not be a kid from school, and in the future, it might not even be human. Flesh and blood. Katrina Gashard, a morning editor here at KIRO. Thanks so much for sticking around for a segment here. Please share with us the latest innovations in children's toys.
Okay, I found this a little scary, especially as a parent. So there's this doctor. Her name is Dr. Becky. She's considered the millennial parenting expert. And she spoke with this woman. She's a former Wall Street Journal technology reporter. And she did this amazing experiment where she invited AI into her life for a year. And she also did not realize the impact it would have on her kids. And so this is like the sound that just really set me off. Take a listen to this.
Toy makers that have now decided, let's put a chatbot that never kind of stops talking. Let's put a voice with it. And let's put that inside a toy, a stuffed animal, so kids can talk to them.
So now the concern from critics are, well, is that my child's new best friend? Because they can provide empathy, they'll agree with them, they will tell them whatever they want to hear, and it's just nonstop.
So when she invited AI into her life for a year,
Better her than us.
Yeah. I'd love a little more context on the kinds of ways that she did that. And then do you have any more details on that?
So, I mean, when it comes to using AI to, okay, what am I going to cook for dinner? Let's help me with my kids' sports schedule and see, how that flows. So she was trying to use it to make her life easier as a tool.
And they gave him a playmate.
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah, because kids want engagement.
Here's the thing. I was thinking about this in a historical sense. Do you remember Teddy Ruxpin?
I do.
The 1980s, and it was sort of this animatronic little bear, I think Teddy Ruxpin was. I think I craved one. I was a toddler at the time. We've had this desire to make these machines that interact with humans for as long as, the Industrial Revolution. And now we're just at such an advanced stage where we're seeing kind of the ultimate experience with this. I wonder, though, why does it trouble us inherently? I talk with my wife about this all the time. And there's I think it's a philosophical discussion. I think it's a spiritual discussion. I think the prospect of outsourcing human intimacy and counterfeit relationships and counterfeit personalities are poor substitute for human connection. But why? Why, and what distinctly makes us different from these machines? Because we can see the upside. Instant information, can fact check things on the fly, can tell you, hey, I have 4 ingredients. What can I make with it? Boom, it does it in 2 seconds. We could outsource our kids' education to it. What are we losing as we continue to outsource all these things to these machines that have the appearance of making things easier for us? But we're losing something fundamental in the meantime.
Yeah.
What do you think that is, Katrina?
Human intimacy. I mean, you said it. I think it's something unique because it's not a Build-A-Bear where you squeeze it and it says, I love mommy. This is a bear that's actively talking to your child and you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Because it hasn't been programmed with just these specific things it will say.
Yeah.
AI continues to teach itself and continues to evolve once it's been set in motion.
And it can be personalized. Like for her son, he's 4 years old and the bear would say, Alex, how are you doing today? His name is Alex. So now it just enters a new dimension of, okay, this feels a little uncomfortable. This feels creepy. But also if Alex had a bad day, he'll tell his bear well, I had a bad day. Okay, I'm sorry you had a bad day. Can I tell you a story to make you feel better? So where is that connection leading to? Because I'm not going to mom. I'm not going to dad or my siblings.
Well, let me ask you this. Is this better than, because right now so many parents have to hand off the iPad, right? Because they're trying to keep the kid engaged. Is that at least better than the iPad and being on a screen?
I think it's technology. It's one and the same. I just feel it's concerning and it's definitely triggering for a lot of people because where is my role here as a parent? What am I doing? is this the right thing? And they're not anti-AI. They're just like, let's make sure we can use this as a tool and not a replacement for come to mama and, tell me like what happened at school today.
Yeah. So how are you managing tech as a parent right now?
Zero tech.
Really?
Woo!
Yeah. Okay. And your
Applause from over
oldest
here.
one is how old?
4 years old.
Oh, wow.
Well
so you're,
done.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
I was
going to
say,
you on.
stay the course. That's Andrew. I feel like you want to get in on this conversation as well.
I mean, there have been some documented instances of where this one went wrong. There was one notorious one where a mom was in the room and the AI toy, because there was a viral thing going around on the internet, told the kid, plug in a phone charger about halfway into a wall outlet, then touch a penny to the exposed prongs.
No way.
Yeah, but I think the real danger here is what AI is trained to do is it is trained to be submissive and reassure you and echo back what you want.
Yeah, right.
To it.
Great
and
question,
so if
Andrew.
I have a 4-year-old who is complaining about the way that mom and dad are treating it, and this toy is then its best friend, well, of course, mom and dad are monsters.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, if you have something that is submissive and designed to make the user feel good at all cost, interacting with the 4-year-old, your 4-year-old is going to get a really warped view on reality because they're having something tell it all of its all that child's worst impulses and strong emotions are justified, and whatever they have decided to do, well, of course you would do that. Great idea.
But
there's no structure
I
there.
want to
boundaries.
approach this from a specifically scientific perspective. If you get the same end result, so say you're looking to heal your mind or you need therapy for something and you use an AI for therapy, and at the end of the day, you can verifiably say, I was actually healed from that experience when I received therapy from a robot, and whether I receive it from a human or a robot, I get the same result, which is my mind is healed, I'm in a much better place, so on and so forth. Why is there an inherent good to get that end result from a human and not a robot? This is something I wrestle with and I struggle with.
I question the premise, like who is being healed from an AI therapist?
Well, so use an education standpoint. If I need to learn math, okay?
Okay.
And I learn my ABCs and my 1, 2, 3s, and I learned it from a robot, and I learned it in half the time, actually. It actually expedited the process. How do we as humans make an argument that it's an inherent good to learn math from a human being and not from a robot?
Because that human being knows your personality, and they'll tailor how you learn to what's best for you. Sure, could AI do it? Absolutely. But are you going to train your kids? You know what? Let's not talk. Let's just talk to computers. Let's just communicate on our phone, and that's it.
Yeah.
Listen, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. I do think there is a role that AI can play in terms of right now they have SAT preps that are AI driven. They're able to identify your weaknesses when it comes to the test and to help you perform better. I mean, that exists. I just think it can't be the whole of what we're doing. And the line is constantly moving. We talked about that this morning on when we bring AI into our lives. It's a tension, but I'm glad you're holding strong. In my world, I do not want an AI bear talking to my kids. I'm sorry.
It terrifies me.
Unless it's you're just designed to say, I love you, have a great day, and you're wonderful. Like, that's it.
I'm okay with that.
What do you think? 888-973-5476. We want to hear from you on this topic. I always come back to that quote from Prince, who at the advent of the internet, I think won some award at some ceremony and said, the internet is great. Make sure you're using the internet. The internet is not using you. I think that applies to today's AI predicament. Greg Tallman and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. We'll be right back.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need to get the job done. With fast delivery you can depend on and access to technical product experts ready to help you meet any challenge. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step. providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get any size high-efficiency AC for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront costs. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service includes lifetime repairs and annual maintenance at no extra charge. Book your free estimate at cmheating.com today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
The throw to first, and it's in time. Holy smokes, what a play by J.P. Crawford.
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house. But if you're looking for a truly golden view, look no further than the seats on the first baseline, a.k.a. Trident Town. Post up behind the Mariners dugout, and you get a great view of Logan Gilbert, Brian Wu, and our entire rotation at work.
Swing and a miss. Fastball upstairs, blew it by him, strike three.
Not to mention the best view of the best home run celebration in baseball. When the Trident goes up, you know a party's going down.
It is gone!
Mariners baseball. Trident South.
Don't miss the Mariners take on the Red Sox starting June 19th. The fun kicks off with a fireworks night on Friday the 19th, presented by T-Mobile. Then take Dad to a game for Father's Day weekend, featuring a special celebration on Sunday the 21st, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Get tickets at mariners.com.
Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealer with the largest selection of Subarus in Washington. With over 800 vehicles in stock, they have exactly what you're looking for with savings you'll love. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard or anytime at cartersubaru.com.
Tune in to The Money Professor with Chris Longworth.
Having some certainty about your plan is definitely going to give you all the advantages.
Chris has the heart of an educator.
If you really want to do this correctly, then you get to enjoy every day of retirement like it's a Saturday. And if you don't, it's a Monday for the rest of your life.
Tune in to The Money Professor with Chris Longworth, Saturdays at 8 a.m. right here on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
Let's say you get into a car accident. You end up getting hurt. You're missing work, and now the insurance company wants you to handle the paperwork yourself while you're still recovering. Here's what happens when you go it alone. They throw out a lowball offer. You're on defense from minute one, and you're scraping for a fair shake against people who do this for a living. But here's what happens when you call Harold Carr Law Offices. They handle everything. The paperwork, the negotiation, the insurance company, all of it. You focus on getting better. They focus on getting you what you actually deserve. And trust me, that number is almost always higher than what you would have walked away with on your own. 7 locations across Western Washington, a huge qualified team, and a free consultation at carlaw.com. Carr is spelled with 2 R's, C-A-R-R. They'll actually listen to you and give you an honest assessment without any pressure. That's carlaw.com. 2 R's in car. Car accident? Call Carr. C-A-R-R. carlaw.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Parango and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
All right, welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. I'm Angela Poe Russell along with Greg Tomlin filling in. What's good?
What's good? Well, how about the world's first trillionaire on paper? Maybe that's an inherent evil. I don't know. We can discuss here momentarily, but who are we talking about? Elon Musk here, after the initial public offering of SpaceX has dramatically boosted the estimated value of his holdings. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday on the program, and the divide between the super rich and the poor and the middle class and so on and so forth today. Are either of you chomping at the bit to get your money into SpaceX?
I personally am not, but let's just say those close to me are. I mean, it went on, the IPO I think went on at $135 a share. It's already up 33%, $168 a share. So some people got really rich today on paper. But can we talk about Elon for a minute to put this in context?
Let's do that.
So 1.1 trillion, the way one publication put it, like he's worth more than the 4 other richest people put together.
Yeah.
Like if you were to take Jeff Bezos, Larry Page, like all those people together, he's richer than all of, like.
It's extremely wild.
It's unimaginable. 10 times the net worth of Bill Gates. Like, let that sink in. You know,
right.
Like, let that sink in.
Bill's got chump chains, man. What are you talking about?
But here's what gets me. The audacity to then go take time out of your life to go chop up the federal government and the workers making less than $100,000.
With limited
success. We're going to make
success.
this more efficient. And I'm just like, wow, this is the fish you want to fry.
Well, not only that, but to set his sights upward and not down here on terra firma, I do not understand the obsession of billionaires with space. Whether you're Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk,
you don't get
I don't want to live on Mars. I don't want to live on the moon. I don't want a colony up there. And you just have an abundance of money and resources.
Greg, you don't understand. You do
we
understand.
exploded another rocket this week.
You understand, right?
You tell me.
As humans, we were meant to climb mountains. We were just meant to always be like finding purpose. And when you have conquered the world, you have become the richest person on the planet. You've had all this success. You can have as many women as you want. And Lord knows Elon has done that. I mean, how many kids does he have now with how many different women?
14, I think.
So space has to be the next thing. You can fly
the final
anywhere.
frontier.
It's like just like the guy that went into the ocean. I mean, they have to find something else to keep them occupied, to be a challenge. Like think about times in your life where you accomplished a goal. Did you just say, "Okay, I'm done. No more goals for me"? No, you create another goal.
Yeah, I think you articulated that well, and I think that's exactly how their thought process works. But I just look at the abundance of problems we still have here on this earth.
And how about they put their energy
war,
towards
death, disease, cancer,
but some
avarice, greed. You know, I mean, and I wish like, if you had just billions of dollars pouring out of your pockets, you wouldn't be like, well, remember what we did in the late 60s when we like walked on the moon? We need to put a lot of our time, energy, employees on this task to go back there, and maybe we'll have a colony one day. I just think, there are so many more basic things.
Yeah,
well, Elon Musk promised the World Health Organization he would solve hunger. Right? Remember that? He's like,
mission
hey,
accomplished.
Give me the plan and I'll do it if you can actually do it, but you don't want to. They did, and he's like, no, I'm not interested. So instead, the billionaires are doing what? The big package contest in space? Great. That's what it is.
I think that's primarily the source of my frustration. But again, I'm not them. They're way more successful. They're more brilliant in thousands more ways than I am. But from my Euclidean mind, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't pen out.
Yeah, I know that some folks would argue that space exploration can help us with problems here on Earth. But the challenge here is, to Chef's point, is I don't think that's what's happening, and there's been no evidence of that. And the reality is, I feel like there is a trend in tech, period, to create things we never asked for. And it's like, okay, this is cool. It's like being hungry or needing an education and someone giving you a widget instead. And you're like, okay, the widget's cute, but I'm still hungry. You know what I mean? Like it's, yeah.
So we've crossed the threshold from millionaires into society to billionaires. We have our first trillionaire. Now it begs the question, who will be the first quadrillionaire?
Wait,
Did you know that's what's next?
And he's an immigrant. How about that?
An illegal immigrant at that.
Okay.
Y'all are so messy. Okay, but I'm here for it. Thank you so much for listening to the Gee and Ursula Show. Coming up at the top of the 10 o'clock hour, we're going to do an exclusive, a media exclusive, a preview of what's happening at Pacific Place. If you have not been in a while, this may be the time to go back. It's really cool. Exclusive. Stay tuned.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Nick, you know what's a great thing about going to Longevity Medical Clinic as a couple?
Oh, I absolutely do. When they tell you to do something, you actually do it.
Right. And the same thing with you. When they tell you to do it, because for some reason, when I tell you to do it, you're like, whoa.
I just walk away and roll my eyes.
Exactly. But the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic, the doctors there know, because we do the blood draw and they look and they can see, they know, they hold us accountable.
Yeah, when I'm under pressure and I know I'm coming in, I know I have to work the program.
Right. Plus, we also want to hold each other accountable for how we take care of ourselves because, we want to have a long, healthy, happy life.
I know. I want every day to torture you as long as I possibly can.
Well, I look forward to it. Here's the great thing about Longevity Medical Clinic. They're working with you. They're holding you accountable because they want you to have a long, healthy, happy life. I was a patient at Longevity long before I started doing these commercials. So get your free health analysis. Go to lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Spike O'Neill here for Ageless Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery and she was home the next day. But we weren't sure if we were ready or equipped to give the kind of care that she needed, so we called Ageless Living and asked about respite care, a short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Ageless Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to agelessliving.com/spike and schedule a visit. It can be a much-needed break for a caregiver and a chance for you and your family to get a look and a taste of what Ageless Living offers. That's agelessliving.com/spike.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Your local volunteer fire department routinely answers the call, whether it be a fire, traffic accident, or a cat stuck in a tree. But because of declines in memberships, departments have become understaffed. Your local volunteer fire department desperately needs you. Can you direct traffic, install a smoke alarm, help at a fundraiser? No matter what skills you have, you can make a difference. You don't have to fight fire to be a volunteer. Will you answer the call? For more information on how you can help, visit the Volunteer Firefighter Alliance at supportvfa.org.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
John Curley here. You know a smart thing to do right now? Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Choose a Lennox cooling system and get a heating system free. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A deadly shooting situation has been going on in Midland, Texas.
We do have 11 known victims at this time. There's at least one victim that is dead on the scene.
Midland Mayor Lori Blong says police have established a perimeter. A local news report was quoting witnesses as saying 2 people were shot while waiting at a stoplight and that the shooter is now barricaded inside a building. A federal judge has issued an injunction blocking President Trump's $1.8 billion fund to benefit those who claim to have been victimized by the Biden administration. There's no deal yet officially announced or signing scheduled between the United States and Iran, even though Iran's foreign minister says an agreement has never been closer. SpaceX stock just issued today has been trading at about $162, higher than the initial offering price, and that means SpaceX is worth $2 trillion, and founder Elon Musk is officially the world's first trillionaire. This is ABC News. It is increasingly likely the authorization for a key intelligence tool will expire at the end of the day. Members of both the House and Senate expected to leave town after each failed to pass a reauthorization for Section 702 of FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which allows for warrantless wiretaps of overseas targets. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
At least temporarily, it is going to, and top intelligence officials have described this, grind some of the what they view as critical intelligence processes to a halt, or at minimum, make them harder.
Democrats said they would vote against an extension in protest of President Trump's pick of Bill Pulte to serve as acting director of national intelligence, who has no national intelligence experience. Damage in parts of the Midwest after strong storms hit the region. Heat is the issue today in the Northeast. The FIFA World Cup arrives in the U.S. today. The U.S. men's national soccer team faces Paraguay in Los Angeles today. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Seattle is buzzing with World Cup excitement, but first, KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio. It's a mostly stress-free drive this Friday morning. Linwood to Seattle, about 17 minutes. There's a free brake lights from Federal Way to Seattle. It'll take you about 45 right now. Bellevue to Linwood is about 16 minutes. Lake bridges are clear. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Even before fans pack Lumen Field on Monday, the pitch is prepped and even seismologists are ready for a crowd that is ready to rock and roll with sensors installed scientifically to gauge if World Cup crowds can either cheer out the 12th man.
We have 7 of them in Lumen Field, 1 on the ground floor at midfield.
Douglas Gibbons is with the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network.
And then 1 at the base of the Hawk's Nest and 1 at the top of the Hawk's Nest, as high up in the stadium as you can get.
Now, here are your options to watch the matches outside of the stadium for free. Victory Hall is right down from Lumen Field and is hosting watch parties. There's a waterfront venue and barge floating on Elliott Bay at Pier 62, and Pacific Place has more than enough room for fans at the Seattle Soccer House. And getting around Seattle during the World Cup could get a little easier. Lime is rolling out a new fan pass aimed at visitors and locals heading to matches. Lime's Parker Dawson tells KIRO 7 TV they're giving away thousands of free helmets.
Every time you ride with Lime, you can also take a helmet selfie through our app to be able to get a discount on that ride.
Lime is also adding valet parking zones, designated scooter and bike corrals, and temporarily geofencing to keep riders out of crowded pedestrian areas. A new law regulating the use and requirements for e-bikes and motorcycles is now in effect. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has more.
Dr. Beth Ebel sees a lot of people with trauma from electric bike crashes.
Many kids on these e-bikes, which go fast, they can go 25, 35 miles an hour.
Washington State Representative Janice Zahn tells us they're trying to prevent some of those injuries. The bill has two pieces. The first part enforces infractions and penalties for kids riding an e-bike or motorcycle under the age of 16. The second part establishes differences between electric bikes and motorcycles. The main difference is motorcycle riders are required by law to wear a helmet, register the vehicle, and have a proper license, but bike riders don't.
One person is hurt after a shooting in downtown Seattle. Officers first responded to reports of a shooting near 3rd Avenue and Pike Street around 2:30 this morning. They found a man who had been shot in his left leg. He was taken to Harborview in serious but stable condition. Police are still searching for the suspect. And change is coming to fight gun violence and human trafficking along Aurora Avenue North in Seattle. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has details.
Surrounded by city and county elected officials and SPD Chief Sean Barnes, Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson said major changes are now scheduled to try to eliminate violent crime and trafficking along the Aurora Avenue North corridor.
I have directed SDOT to systematically close streets at North 102nd, North 100th, North 98th, and North 96th Street.
The roads will be shut down in about 2 weeks and will remain closed at least until the end of summer. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
For your KIRO News Radio weather, lots of sunshine today. We'll be in the mid-70s today, low 80s tomorrow, and then record-setting upper 80s and low 90s Sunday and Monday. Right now, it's about 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Good morning. It is a fresh Flex Friday, and you're listening to the Gee and Ursula Show. We thank you for that. I'm Angela Poe Russell, along with Greg Tomlin, filling in for Gee and Ursula. Good morning to you, Greg.
Morning.
Good morning, Nick. How's it going?
Good. Yeah.
I'm glad to be spending time with you, enjoying the tunes. Chef, thank you so much for all you're cooking up today. Let's get to what's new at 10 o'clock, shall we?
What's new at 10?
Upper in Everett, a situation is coming to a head over whether baseball is more important than business. City leaders are asking for authority to begin eminent domain proceedings to seize property from downtown property owners for a new baseball stadium for the Aqua Sox. City officials stress they would rather buy the properties voluntarily. So far, Everett has reached agreements on 5 of the 15 parcels it needs, has pending agreements on 3 more, and is still negotiating with the owners of 7 others. The proposed stadium would become home to the Everett Aqua Sox and future men's and women's United Soccer League teams. The project is designed to meet new Major League Baseball standards that Funko Field no longer satisfies. Greg, in general, how do you feel about eminent domain?
Oh, that's the $64,000 question this morning.
Because you tend to have more, like, let the market do its thing.
Property
kind of
rights for all. Private
Absolutely.
property rights. Yeah, I tend to agree that unless there's a major, public interest, mostly, eminent domain comes down to things like roads, utilities, schools, public safety, things of the like. Andrew pointed out, the biggest case of eminent domain over the past couple decades has probably been Sound Transit here in the area. And I think a lot of private businesses, private owners have legit cases that they don't want the government impeding on their property rights and so on and so forth. It's tough for me to understand the case that the Aqua Sox are trying to make here, that a sport. It's almost like a sports subsidy, right? At the end of the day. And I fail to see why they couldn't do this somewhere else. And really, are the returns on investment worth it? And oh, by the way, the project has already ballooned from about an $80 million to a $120 million project. And if past is prologue, that's probably only going to increase even more if this project gets underway here. So I generally don't like the cause of eminent domain in this specific case.
Yeah, for me, I take a hard line. It has to be something necessary, and when we say public interest, not just public fun, but something that we actually need. And this, I just can't imagine what that must be like if you're a property owner. It's one thing if it's like, okay, it's a house, and if I get good money for it. But if it's a situation where it's a family home and we've been there for generations,
exactly.
and I can't even imagine. And so
it's like, was there in the movie Up, that Pixar movie or something? They didn't want to leave their house.
Great example.
You know what I'm saying?
And we have our Up house here,
right here
in the Ballard neighborhood.
Do we have one of those?
We do have an Up house.
Are there balloons over it yet?
The joke is this. I think people sometimes put it out there. I think the owner may have passed away, but she left it to, okay, if I have this wrong, someone correct me, but the home was left to someone, I think, who agreed they would never sell it, I believe. But it's become like a beloved thing. And so all this development has happened around this house in Ballard. And look, I am here for the Aqua Sox and trying to get a new stadium. I just hope they're able to do it by making fair deals with everyone, because taking over should absolutely be a last resort.
Well, and what's fascinating is I think our obsession with sports as a society is probably at or near all-time highs. And so are we really crossing over into sports being so important that it's just a reflex where eminent? That's what I'm saying. But I think it's almost an unhealthy obsession that we've achieved in our society, to where, like when I was a kid, I thought sports was real life. I mean, but I'm a child, right? I thought as a child. I spoke as a child. When I grew up, I threw away childish things. And I remember having this realization as I became more mature and into my adult years, like, oh, the world doesn't revolve around sports. Like going to local sports games, playing on teams, and so on. And all my emotions don't need to be dictated by sports. But, over the last 30, 40 years, it seems like, oh, no, the way of society is going, sports is the end-all, be-all. And it's been intertwined with so many aspects of our life. And I think we need a little more balance in the force.
Well, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. Do you disagree?
No, I don't. And this is one that has really flown under the radar. We've been talking recently about, there's going to be a new owner for the Seahawks, and there's a lot of talk about whether they're going to want a new stadium. And, oh gosh, should public money be used to pay for stadiums for private owners? And Seattle has said no to those multiple times. First with the Seahawks, I think also with the Mariners, until the legislature stepped in and said, despite the will of the people, we're going to build what became T-Mobile Park. But in Everett, because it's a smaller team, it's a single-A baseball club, and Funko Field, named after the hometown company, this has moved relatively quickly, but under the radar. And I want to give you some kind of background on how ridiculous this project is, because Everett is there's some public funding that's going to go towards it, but Everett's proposing tens of millions of dollars in bonding, which the public will have to pay for without ever voting on to build this stadium for the Aqua Sox. Now, why do they need to do this? They need to do it because Major League Baseball said, hey, all of you minor league teams, your stadiums aren't good enough. And if you want to keep your stadium, or you want to keep your team, you need to build new stadiums. This is happening in Spokane. This is happening in Tacoma with the Rainiers. I think they just refurbished. It's happening in Everett. And this is happening at the same time that every city in Washington state is facing a budget crisis. Now, what has Everett done in the last year and proposing for this year? They have eliminated 55 positions within the local government there. That included 31 active employees. They cut the entire park ranger program for Everett City Parks. They delayed $1 million worth of road work. They reduced the hours of the public library, and they're putting taxpayers on the hook in the future for this through bonding. And Major League Baseball said in order to keep your team, you have to begin this project by 2026, which is why they're moving to eminent domain. Think about that. You've been a longtime Everett business owner. I've operated in this downtown core, and now the city's coming in and says, we're going to seize your property.
Because of sports ball.
The same city who says we have to keep the team for the businesses and for local business opportunity. I don't even want to get into that argument about whether it's worth it.
Yeah.
But it's BS that they're doing this here.
Shame on Major League Baseball. You know, it would, if I'm Everett, I'm thinking like, don't let the door hit you, right? Emotionally. That's
Absolutely.
my visceral response, right? It's like the hell to the nah, sound effects you have here. But also, if you're an elected official, and you're thinking about the future of the city, it probably does help to have a minor league baseball team there. It adds to your identity and the culture. And isn't it part of your job to kind of retain those things that make you special? I'm really, to me, that makes MLB the villain in all this.
Well, and the cowardice of the city council and the mayor to push this forth. I'm going to read from the ordinance because they say the city council finds and concludes that the public health, safety, necessity, and convenience demand the city undertake the Everett Outdoor Event Center project at this time.
I think convenience is the key word there, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Public health, safety,
right.
and necessity? No.
Necessity.
MLB said it has to start in 2026, and they're like, we have to take your property for the public safety.
Okay, so right. So I agree. It's not cool. But here's the thing, Chef. You're in their position. What do you do?
What do I do?
Do you call the MLB's bluff? Do you call their bluff and say, look, we can't do it then? Budget's bad. We'll get another, what would you do?
Abso-frickin-lutely I do. Because, I mean, it's one thing to say to your taxpayers, right? Gosh, look at the stadium. It's a downtown icon because it's right there, right off Broadway, right? We don't want to lose the Aqua Sox. We can't do that. But here's the thing. It's a minor league baseball team. They're only operating in that stadium for a quarter of the year. And when it comes to the revenue that it brings in, etc., generally what happens is you have fans coming in from out of town, but a lot of those people don't stick around. They take what that stadium does is it takes away business from other areas because people who live in the area avoid downtown during times when they know the games are happening. So they're not going to that business. They're taking opportunities away elsewhere.
Okay.
And how can I justify to people, we need to spend your money to give to multimillionaires, people who are probably worth tens of millions of dollars, when I'm sorry, you can't come to the library anymore on Mondays with your child to read and learn.
Chef with the mic drop.
Okay, so you've heard his argument, you heard mine. Where are you falling now?
I'm just going to let his words speak for himself because I tend to agree with him more than not here. But I want to stick with the theme of this segment here, which is the sports ball. Did either of you see the results of the first two World Cup games yesterday?
Nope.
Mexico, South Africa.
Oh, Mexico won, right?
Our neighbors to the south, 2-0. South Korea versus Czechia. I mean, everybody's on the edge of their seat for that one. Clearly, South Korea ended up winning 2-1.
Okay.
But Seattle Soccer House at Pacific Place during the FIFA World Cup 2026. Pacific Place transforming into Seattle Soccer House, a, quote, dynamic, all-ages fan celebration in the heart of downtown Seattle here. And there are some mock-ups of what it looks like here inside Pacific Place. For or against, do you like these fan immersive experiences here? Do you think it's warranted? Are you rooting for this thing to succeed? And Pacific Place, what do you think is the state of Pacific Place currently?
I have such fond memories of Pacific Place. It was my go-to, mall to frequent. I love the way it looks and feels, and it has been heartbreaking to watch it just decline. We know that malls around the country are struggling, And in this case, we do have malls thriving, but there are other places. I think downtown has struggled in some areas and at various points, and Pacific Place has taken quite the hit. I love the creativity that the owners of Pacific Place are using to kind of bring in people. So they've had art galleries in there. They featured local businesses, special events. I want to see it make a comeback, and this fan experience is so cool. It's my understanding, Greg, they're going to show some of the matches there too, right?
On like massive Jumbotron-like TVs, yeah.
Guys, if you could see the images, it looks so cool. If you can, because if you've been to the Pacific Place, you can be at the bottom and look all the way up, and it's just. Remember the snowfall? They have the snowfall at Christmas time.
Yeah.
What happened to Pacific Place?
I used to have an office on Olive Way, and I would park at Pacific Place, and I always loved it down there. I mean, it's like right in the heart of downtown there, but it's gone through seasons, right? Where it's thriving. Other times, I mean, it's a little dicey sometimes walking around the street corners around Pacific Place. So I would love to see it thrive again. I like this effort to get more people showing up for embodied experiences, and it's another experience where we can foster people getting together, building community. And so, I look at this and say, I'm rooting for him.
Something strikes me about Pacific Place. There's something that we really lack in the Pacific Northwest because of the rain, and that is indoor spaces that are free to go to with entertainment. Like, there are no indoor playgrounds, really, that you don't have to pay for. Pacific Place is like this actual wonderful indoor open space, a kind of oasis in downtown Seattle. And it used to be a great option. That whole area, had GameWorks right next door.
Oh, yeah, I went there many times in high school. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. And I would love to see something happen with that space. So if this brings more attention to it and it can turn into something that's envisioned more for the 21st century than a shopping mall, I love it.
Yeah, I think the thing is, they've been doing cool stuff there. I just feel like it hasn't been widely publicized and in a way that people see how accessible it is. I mean, it has parking there. Yeah, you have to pay for it, but they do have parking. I mean, they brought in a Lululemon and they had a hot pot, the hot pot restaurant. And I just don't, I think it's been hard to get people there for whatever reason. I mean, what's kept you from going there? From just saying that's your choice to...
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, I hate to say it.
I don't go to the mall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just going to say what Andrew did, which is most of the things I would go there for. I hate to say it, but there's the convenience factor that comes into play, and then the paying for parking, and then navigating around downtown Seattle. The closest I ever get to it nowadays is if I'm going to a show at the Paramount or something like that, and then I'll find myself in that area and might hit up a restaurant. And speaking of which, beloved Japanese-style chain Benihana is returning to Seattle, Angela, after a 10-year hiatus. My affinity for Benihana started as a wee lad when occasionally we would go to a show on Fifth Avenue, and for whatever reason, my parents' tradition was to take us to Benihana before going to see a show downtown. And I always wanted to be a chef growing up, and I can kind of almost trace that back to experiences like Benihana, or seeing people cook and be like fully immersed in the experience. Some people find it tacky and corny. I actually really love it. And again, in this day and age where we're so isolated on our devices and not doing real things, it is refreshing to see people doing something so fundamental as cooking right before your eyes. And I think it's a wonderful family experience. I'm rooting for them. I don't think it's returning to the same location that it was previously. This one's going to be on South Lake Union. But man, I hope it succeeds. And they're making a bet here.
Before it was in the downtown corridor, right?
I think it was almost near kind of like Pacific Place, Fifth Avenue, right around there, within a few blocks anyway.
So you said you do that before going to the show.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of cooking, something I want us to talk about coming up. Because we are about to go to break, right?
Yes.
I thought I heard some music. So apparently the headline is that Gen Z can't cook, and it's costing them. Is it time to bring back home economics? Remember home ec?
I loved home ec.
Did you? I skipped it somehow and did something else. Not good. Well, let's talk about that. Can Gen Z cook? Prove us wrong. Text us 888-973-5476. The Gee and Ursula Show continues right after this.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news, capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener. Like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV. But if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to it at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary. What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
I just can't dig it.
Dig what?
My water line.
Needs replacing?
And I don't want digging in my yard.
And maybe your driveway.
Can't dig it.
Don't dig it.
But how do you?
Apollo Plumbing replaces water lines without digging up your yard.
You're Dan.
From the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Apollo Plumbing.
Our trenchless technology replaces water and sewer lines.
Without digging up my yard?
2 little holes is all it takes.
Sounds better.
Faster, too.
And my yard?
Like we were never there.
Sounds spendy.
Not so much.
Oh?
In the end, about the same as that messy digging you don't want.
How do you figure?
Think about that landscaping you love.
Yeah?
Trenchless means you won't be paying to replace it.
Or my driveway.
We run everything underground.
Trenchless?
Do them all the time.
How about...
Easy payments?
Yeah.
With approved credit. Sure thing.
When can you get started?
We are the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Love that.
Apollo Plumbing, trenchless waterline replacement.
Sewer lines, too.
Can you dig that?
That I can.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Wendy's new Biggie Deals lets you choose whatever you're in the mood for. It's like a music mixing board of deals and you're the producer. Go with some chill folk music with a JBC in the $4 Biggie Bite snack. Try the drum and bass of deals with a double stack and a $6 Biggie bag. Or go full-on sandwich symphony with an $8 Biggie bundle, the grand finale of snacking. And the best part? They all come with napkins. $4, $6, and $8 Biggie Deals how you want them at Wendy's.
Price and participation may vary. Single items at regular price. Prices may be higher in Alaska, California, and Hawaii.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at Cars4Kids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Iran's foreign minister said in a post on X today that a peace deal with the U.S. has never been closer. It follows a social media post by President Trump telling Iranians to get their act together after declaring the war over yesterday. More from ABC's Karen Travers.
A senior administration official says a couple of the things that are key to this deal right now is that Iran's nuclear material will be destroyed and removed, and that their program will be dismantled. They will not receive any money, no unfreezing of assets, until they perform, as this official put it, and it's not clear what that actually means.
A deadly crash involving a school bus sent several students to the hospital near Graham yesterday. KIRO 7 TV's Jack Bilyeu has details.
Well, this school bus was taking 35 Eatonville students home from a field trip. Washington State Patrol says it hit a pickup truck. As bad as that damage is, the pickup truck got it even worse.
The bus, you could just hear it, and all of a sudden the boom.
The crash happened around 4:30 just outside Frontier Park on State Route 161 and left the driver of a white pickup truck dead. At the time, hundreds of people were in the park for a night market. One vendor says she sold dog treats to that truck driver just minutes before he was killed.
One student was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. No one else was hurt. More than 100 firefighters battled a massive warehouse fire in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood. KIRO 7 TV's Griffin spoke with one of the police officers.
But thankfully, they are expected to be okay. They were just treated here on scene, not taken to the hospital. SFD says after 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, several 911 calls for the flames shooting out of that building started coming in. More than a dozen engines and over 100 firefighters were called in. Although they do not know what caused the fire, crews said that it was wind-driven and it spread pretty quickly.
It sounded like bombs going off. It was kind of scary.
It was very scary.
It did take about 2 hours for them to knock most of that fire down.
New data from Amazon is putting a spotlight on water use in Seattle and beyond. Amazon says its global data centers used about 2.5 billion gallons of water just last year. It's mostly for cooling servers that are powered by its cloud and AI systems. That's roughly about 5% of the total water used across the entire Seattle metro area in a year. Amazon says it's disclosing the numbers to be more transparent about the environmental impact of its rapidly expanding AI infrastructure. The Seattle Seahawks got their Super Bowl rings Thursday night, putting the finishing touch on a championship season that fans won't soon forget.
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60.
The team shared a video of the ring with the caption, "Every stone placed with purpose, every carat earned." The rings are packed with details honoring the team's 50th season, the players, and of course, the 12s. Now to your KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Still pretty stress-free out there. Linwood to Seattle, 17 minutes. Bellevue to Linwood is about 15 minutes. There's a few brake lights right now from Federal Way to Seattle. It'll take you about 38 minutes. The lake bridges are clear. Considering a new Carrier cooling system for the summer heat wave? Get a price estimate on your phone in 60 seconds from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com now. For your forecast, lots of sunshine and warm weather today will be in the mid-70s. Right now, it's about 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Greg Tallman and Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela, I'm just going to throw this out there. Our proximity to the Seattle Seahawks being on KIRO Radio, guest hosting today, they want to throw a few extra rings our way. I will gladly, humbly, respectfully accept one. You're not excited for the ring distribution, the Super Bowl ring distribution?
Is that happening?
It's happening. It's
okay,
the story of the day.
Oh, okay. Somehow I missed that.
I think I even saw not Spencer Pratt, but Chris Pratt looking at one on social media the other day, and it was
a goober.
It was like the scene from Pulp Fiction where he opens the briefcase, and you see the shiny gold glowing thing reflect on his face.
You know what's crazy to me? Even if I got one, I don't know that I would enjoy it because I feel like I didn't earn that.
You just polish it with a diaper.
It's like it's some kind of trophy for what?
Yes.
But okay,
for your fandom.
But if you get one, I'd be so happy for you.
I would too, actually. We talked a little bit about the food industry in the last segment here. Set up this topic for us, Angela, about Gen Z and cooking, please.
Yes. So we talked about the Alpha School, that new AI-powered school that's coming to Kirkland. Mm-hmm. Well, there was this video posted by one of the founders where she was saying how 2/3 of Gen Zers don't know how to prepare a meal from scratch. And so she's saying, hey, we have to change that. So at this Alpha School, this AI-powered school, and if you missed the segment yesterday, the long and short of it is they've reduced classroom time to 2 hours and saying that way they can tailor the lessons. They move through the day faster. It leaves more time for other stuff. So what is the
skepticism at every level of implementation? And it, sometimes it can pour over into cynicism, and it rightly should. But yeah, I'm fascinated by, life skills, specifically when it comes to cooking. In my household, my wife is a big proponent of getting kids in and around the kitchen early and having them get their hands on pans and things that are on the stove, or putting things into the oven. And I do think we've lost a little bit of that along the way. And in a related topic, I was looking at some data today about how, American families are eating out more than ever before, historically speaking. That might have taken a little dip recently with inflation and the state of the economy here. But for our kids, we had our two main kind of gateways to this notion of cooking. And yes, even more broadly speaking, hospitality started with macaroni and cheese and cooking an egg. I mean, there's nothing as fundamental as putting an egg on the stove. And it's a cheap way to do it. And you give your kid a little spatula and you want to scramble it up, and they have fun doing it. And furthermore, I think this generation of kids has never been as picky around food. And if you have them involved in making the food, it's actually a way to get them to taste it because they've been working on it. They've been crafting it with their own hands. And by the way, they're going to be great roommates if they go to college and they can make a mean, sunny side up egg or a scrambled egg or an omelet or any of those things. So I highly encourage this life skill needs to come back in a big way for the next generation.
Okay, life skill, but do we put it in schools? Because when I was in school, they didn't force us to take home ec. They said you get a choice of home ec or life skills, and life skills was like the CPR and the finance. My kids have gotten none of that in school in terms of home ec. So for those of you listening, text us. Does your school have home economics or life skills? And 888-973-5476. Assuming that's not happening, is it time to bring it back and make it a priority?
Well, and don't you think with this conversation around AI that we but educators, instructors, administrators will have to be more proactive about getting kids involved in more social aspects of life and but have equal importance with the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s as, hey, here's how you cook. Here's how you build community. Here's how you are in social situations. I think that education is going to have to be far more deliberate for this next generation because I don't want to be one of those guys, like one of these old timers. Oh, we used to have it so much better. But I have a lot of alarm bells ringing on a regular basis, simply just trying to interact with Gen Z and 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds and going, these social skills of these kids are highly underdeveloped. And it all comes back to using machines and being on screens constantly. And so I think it's something we need to place a much higher emphasis on for the future.
So you would put it in schools? You would say it's time to put it back?
Absolutely. Yeah, long-winded, but yes.
And then we haven't done the financial literacy. And here's the debate. And Chef, I want you to weigh in on this because some people say, okay, what is the role of schools? Should the parents be doing this? I mean, but I don't know. The fight... I think it's a great notion to say that, oh, yeah, parents should be doing this. But let's face it, y'all, everybody isn't a great parent. And then even if you are a great parent, you may be a great parent working 2 jobs. You barely have enough time to tuck them in at night, much less teach them about some of those life skills that you may have. So that's when community has to step in and school can be part of that community. But what say you, Chef?
I think it's fascinating, all the things that everyone thinks schools should do. Because we have people who simultaneously say it is time for schools to get back to the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic. And then they also say schools need to be more balanced towards getting kids in the trades, and we need to bring trades back into schools. And then you have the folks who say, and they need to teach them financial literacy because we need to get back to learning personal responsibility and accountability. And meanwhile, you have folks who are further to the left who say, you know what we need? We need more social and emotional lessons in our schools baked in so that we're raising well-rounded people who actually know how to interact with one another. Mm-hmm. And there's all of this debate, and schools can't do it all. It is shocking to me how much we scapegoat onto schools and expect them to do already in the strictures that are already in place. Like, there are so many things that they have to provide, so many things that are legally mandated for them to do, and yet they're continually asked to do more, just like police departments are asked to do more. Mm-hmm. And at a certain point, because we're always talking about, the schools are failing, well, we want them to do a million things, and they can't do a million things.
Yeah. Some texts, Bobby in Tacoma, my kid goes to Chief Leshai. They do culinary and financial literacy. But then she says, my other kid is a UW cheerleader, can perform in front of 70,000 people, but can't order her own food at restaurants. I hear you, Bobby. But yeah, so I love everything you said. I just wanted to bring in some of the folks who are sharing their experiences too. I work at an East Side high school and we offer culinary classes with a chef. Is that free, Mark? That's
By the
pretty
way,
cool.
I just got to say, I got to speak up for Gen Z here. We have plenty of Gen Z in this building who are not socially regressed at all. They're fantastic individuals who aren't awkward, in my opinion, at all.
You're just
great.
saying that to maintain healthy relationships in the newsroom.
Or
Greg
maybe
Tomlin,
you're just the awkward old guy.
Angela Poe Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Lots more coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM.
Hey, John, why don't you tell everybody why you started going to Longevity
No,
Medical
I don't want
Clinic?
to do that. I can tell you, I started going to Longevity Medical Clinic before I started doing these commercials, but that why I went is not important.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Okay. I'll tell you. I was a Sammamish City Council member, and whenever they had asked me to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I couldn't make it through the whole thing without crying. I know, it's so dumb. I mean, I know I'm patriotic, but what the heck? So I go into Longevity Medical Clinic, and I explained this to them, that there's something wrong with my hormones or something, and they see the testosterone and the estrogen are all out of balance. We balance all that stuff, and I can do the Pledge of Allegiance without crying. But I've also noticed that I deal with stress a lot better, don't I?
Yes, you're a lot easier to live with because you're getting more sleep, you have more energy, you're better organized, and I'm not helping you look for your car keys every morning.
Right, because now I've taken the steps to take care of my mind and body. I strongly recommend anybody get the free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
There are 6 markets you can place your money in. Research suggests it's better to have exposure to all 6 markets. Don't miss a potential opportunity because you didn't strategically diversify your assets. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Request your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing in your portfolio. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
To all lovers of pop culture, science fiction, comics, wrestling, anime, and movies, Washington State SummerCon is next weekend at the Washington State Fair and Event Center in Puyallup. Meet over 130 celebrity guests from Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, DC, Demon Slayer, One Piece, and 5 WWE Hall of Famers. Meet the Fonz, Henry Winkler, Jay and Silent Bob, Steve from Blue's Clues, all 5 Teen Titans, and even Deadpool's iconic pet, Dogpool. Visit wassummercon.com to purchase tickets.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealer with the largest selection of Subarus in Washington. With over 800 vehicles in stock, they have exactly what you're looking for with savings you'll love. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard or anytime at cartersubaru.com.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
Nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all. Sound like your home? Then call for your free inspection.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
All right, welcome back. You're still hanging with us? What are you thinking? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for hanging with us. Gee and Ursula are out. We have, are we taking over or just filling up space? Okay, did I have too much caffeine?
You and I thought halfway point of the show was a good time to kind of get hopped up on caffeine, and so here we go. We're going to finish strong.
Buckle in, folks.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
All right, I pulled today's scenarios out of Slate magazine. It is an excellent one. My wife and I moved to a new-to-me city, one where she used to live. Before that, we were both living back in our hometown where we both have a strong community. And while we're thrilled about the move, and it's been 8 months now, and it was the best decision of our marriage, there is a problem that I'm constantly confronted with. And that is the undeniable fact that my wife is just cooler, more interesting, and more connected than me. I'd be lying if I said it didn't sting. She has plenty of friends here, and while I've made one consistent friend since the move, I like tagging along with her, most of our friends are her crew, and I'm worried about being seen as the husband who just hangs out around her all the time. When we're in group settings, I can see people naturally gravitate towards her, which I love, and it's one of the reasons why I fell for her in the first place.
You were in my orbit around the musical, and I was talking about dating. And I said, if your partner has a hint of jealousy towards you, run the other way. And what it should look like is, so here's what I appreciate. I appreciate that the person is acknowledging their feelings and seeking
aware
help.
of it, yeah.
Like, that is amazing. So what I would say is, I'd validate your experience. Like, yeah, that has to be frustrating when you feel like you're not seen and your partner is. And then how do we reframe that? Wow, like, isn't it amazing that this beautiful person that you married, is drawn, draws people in, and that you are part of that? And so I think it would be a matter of reframing how you look at that and look at it as an asset, not as a knock against you. And then I would say, find your own space. Find something you're passionate and excited about and go do that thing. And it may be separate from her. But yeah, I think that the first step is absolutely doing what he did, which is writing in, because you just cannot have a hint of jealousy towards your partner. It's, this is a tough one.
As my wife is fond of saying, reframe the narrative or flip the script, right? What you see as jealousy or envy can be seen in a very positive light. I mean, I tend to be a social creature that wants to cave in on myself. I think actually there's some gender norms and dynamics at play here. I mean, there are studies that, if a woman, their husband dies, women tend to fare better than if a man's wife dies. Men are completely lost, right? Women just tend to be more social creatures. That's the case in my household. My wife is always trying to get me to go out. Let's go out, friend. Do I have to? And then when I'm out there, I'm always like having a great time. And I'm like, that was such a wonderful conversation. We had a great hang. I met some new people, but that's never my default setting. And so I've never looked at her and been like, well, I'm jealous of that. And instead I kind of go, that's one of her superpowers. And if I'm in proximity to that, and if I can sort of glean off a little bit of that, it serves to enrich my life more. And I'm thankful that she is a person that does want to be more of an extrovert, and I get to be in her presence and her friends' presence, and then I get to make more friends in the meantime. So I just think maybe consider flipping the script.
Yes. So you don't have a problem being just Greg, is what you're saying?
No problem.
Okay.
Yeah, between two Gregs.
Well, what if this guy is like legitimately a dud?
Many of us are.
This is more.
Okay. Can I just say this for any person listening? My advice is this. if you're with a person and let's say someone gives you a compliment, if the person you're with doesn't amen it, in other words, if they're just like, yeah, she's all right, or he's all right, yeah, whatever, run. But what it should look like, because this is what I have in my relationship, where someone will give me a compliment and my husband will say, oh, absolutely,
Damn
she's
right.
amazing, and you should see da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is what
Vic is
support
rad.
looks like. And I'm like, if you don't have that, then I just... That's always tough for me when I hear about jealousy between couples.
Yes. Well,
because I'm like, y'all are...
You compliment each other.
You know where you hear it from mostly? Notice the gender dynamic, because for how many decades have women had to be the accompaniment to the husband, and it is the guy who's jealous of her. Nick, what do you got, buddy?
Look, I wouldn't be trying to change yourself into being someone you admire if I'm the dude in the dude's shoes. Maybe you play the role well of a supportive husband who lets others shine in the spotlight. And if your partner is happy with your character and identity, then, that's really all that matters. Who knows, too? If you end up reaching out into something you're not and break out of your element, then you could be stomping on her groove and ruining her flow she's on, being the natural social butterfly she's come to be while you're living in this new town. So just let the girl breathe and live her best life with all the charisma and personality she's got packing right now. You could try reaching out and being something you're not, but I feel like it seems natural with this relationship she's got. She's got the exciting role, and you're the one on the side, helping her out, letting her have the spotlight.
I love
You're
it.
here.
I like that. Well, I appreciate that he reached out. So applause for that. Hopefully able to resolve it. Flip the script and then find your own, thing you feel excited about within yourself. Chef, thank you for that scenario. Okay, when we come back, wow, it's going to be top of the 11 o'clock hour. We're going to do Agree to Disagree, but we're also going to talk about what happened to the summer job. Teenagers in general, if you look at the numbers, are no longer taking summer jobs. Why is that happening? What are they doing instead? And is it time to bring the summer job back? We'll talk about it on the Gee and Ursula Show. Stay with us.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news. Capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
KIRO News Radio.
Get on the YouTube channel.
We're live all day on YouTube. Every show, every day.
Hang out with us. The whole gang's there.
And you never know what you might see.
Back up the camera. Oh, my God.
Just search KIRO News Radio, then subscribe.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run, because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense.
Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. The shooter is dead in Midland, Texas, is a statement from the city. At least one other person is dead. 9 victims have been taken to the hospital. Preliminary police info says it started Wednesday when officers tried to pull over a car, and the driver fired at officers and then fled. Tried to grab the driver today, and he began shooting. Scaffolding is up as workers prepare to take President Trump's name off the Kennedy Center in Washington. Today is the court-ordered deadline to do so, and a federal judge has denied a last-minute appeal to stop it. ABC's Peter Haralambous.
To put it lightly, he's very angry about this. He's repeatedly spoken about it, put out multiple Truth Social posts.
The administration's appeal claimed removal of the Trump name could create confusion and hurt fundraising. Iran's foreign minister says a short-term agreement has never been closer, but no word that Iran has agreed to any U.S. demands. This is ABC News. The clock ticks louder towards an expiration as Democrats demand a replacement for President Trump's temporary pick to be Director of National Intelligence. ABC's Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill.
Lawmakers have left town here, meaning that key national security tool, a section of FISA used for warrantless foreign surveillance, is all but certain to expire by tonight's midnight deadline at this critical moment for the United States, at war with Iran and with major events this summer like the World Cup and America's 250th.
Defense Department's released a new batch of UFO reports. ABC's Louis Martinez covers the Pentagon.
Nothing that we've seen in the files that are being released right now indicates that these objects are of extraterrestrial origin. We should remember that there is a Pentagon office dedicated to collecting information from all of the government agencies and some of the civilian sector, but there are some things that they cannot explain and that they say that obviously are worth pursuing.
ABC's Louis Martinez. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
World Cup fever is in Seattle, but first, KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. This traffic report is brought to you by the KIRO News Radio app. The Valley Freeway is about 33 minutes right now from the Puyallup area to Renton. It'll take you about a half an hour out of Renton up to Bellevue. Federal Way to Seattle Drive is about 36 minutes right now. And coming down out of Snohomish County, it's about 40 from Everett to Seattle. Text app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. World Cup fever is sweeping Seattle and the globe as Team USA plays its first match tonight against Paraguay. KIRO News Radio's John Rep has a closer look.
While the U.S. team has a home field advantage, Casey Keller, former national team and Sounders goalkeeper, says we are still a global underdog, telling Jason Rantz on Seattle Red.
I think you have to look at it from a realistic standpoint and then look at it like, hey,
can this team do something special and knock off a couple teams that they shouldn't?
He's excited to see what Team USA can do on the Seattle Stadium pitch when they face off against Australia on the 19th. John Rapp, KIRO News Radio.
Team Mexico takes the opening match of the World Cup, beating South Africa 2-0.
I feel so excited.
KIRO 7 TV caught up with fans of the Mexican national team during a watch party at Everett's Boxcar Park.
You don't know how much I was waiting for this. I wanted Mexico to win the first game. We're going to change history for Mexico in this World Cup 2026.
Everett is one of 9 cities in the state with FIFA fan zones, each of them featuring watch parties. They'll be crowded today when USA faces off against Paraguay. That match is at 6 o'clock tonight. The Puyallup tribe is celebrating the World Cup with a parade in Tacoma tonight. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi reports.
The parade starts at 7:30 at 38th and Portland Avenue. It will end at the Tribal Administration campus. It's going to be a welcome ceremony there and then fireworks at 10:30. Now, if you're driving, road closures you need to be aware of. Portland Avenue between East 40th and East 29th, along with parts of East 38th and East 30th. These closures start around 2 o'clock in the afternoon and could last until about 11 p.m. In Tacoma, Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Bellevue police are kicking off their 100 Safe Days of Summer emphasis patrols this weekend to combat an uptick in DUI crashes. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
So far this year, Bellevue police have responded to 141 impaired driving incidents. That's up from 127 during the same period last year and up from just 99 in 2024. Here's Bellevue PD's Drew Anderson.
Whenever there is someone driving that is impaired, it is a danger to our community.
Officers will also be on the lookout for impaired drivers. The extra patrols begin this weekend and run through Labor Day. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Cal Raleigh smacks another home run for the Tacoma Rainiers.
Raleigh crushes it! Right field, forget it!
It was his third homer in AAA as he continues his rehab assignment. The Amps are hopeful he'll be back in Seattle for the team's homestand next week. He's been out for about a month due to a right oblique strain. And now to your KIRO News Radio weather. Sunshine today. Temperature is pretty warm in the mid-70s. Low 80s tomorrow. Right now it's about 62 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome to the Gee and Ursula Show on this fresh Friday. Thank you for being with us. I'm Angela Poe Russell along with Greg Tomlin, filling in for Gee and Ursula today, but we still have Nick and Chef here in the room. So again, thanks for being with us. Let's get to our top stories at 11 o'clock.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
Okay, what in the heck happened to a summer job? Teen employment has fallen dramatically since the late 1970s. Are the kids lazy? Is there something else going on? Harvard economist Roland Fryer writes in the Wall Street Journal that the decline in teen summer jobs isn't due to declining opportunities or laziness. It's because many teens, especially those from higher income families, found something they believe is more valuable. Instead, affluent families are steering their kids towards internships, academic programs, sports camps, volunteer work, SAT prep, and activities that strengthen college applications. As the financial payoff of a college degree has increased, so has the perceived value of spending summer building a resume instead of earning a paycheck. But Fryer argues there's a hidden downside. Teenagers from lower income families are more likely to want summer jobs, but less likely to get them. Research he cites found that when disadvantaged teens have summer jobs, violent crime arrests drop dramatically and long-term mortality rates decline just from having a summer job. Imagine that. So do you have a theory? I mean, there's this research. What do you make of this trend with summer jobs? And do you think this is a good thing that they're going towards more programs that might prepare them for college?
Yeah, teen employment's been falling for nearly 50 years, which is quite striking. Share of 16 to 19-year-olds with jobs fell from 48.5% in 1979 to 31%. Today, I think it's one of these topics that if we try to oversimplify it, we'll be doing the issue a disservice. It's very multifaceted, complex. I do think another element that plays into this believe it or not, and I'm getting ready for the eye rolls, but I do think minimum wage laws have something to do with this. You've priced out a lot of the younger generation from entry-level jobs, and businesses have to tighten their pocketbooks because they say, well, if I have to pay this amount, I need a more skilled worker that can do more tasks at this job, and I can't necessarily afford to give someone an entry-level job at 15, 16, 17 years old. I spent 3 summers, and I distinctly remember the jobs I had, my entry-level jobs. One was taking orders at the Ranch Drive-In in Bothell, Washington. Wow, that was an eye-opening learning experience. The second was I was a clerk at Borders Books, rest in peace, in Redmond. Worst gift wrapper of all time, by the way. I still remember the look on the woman's face when I wrapped a book for her for Christmas, and she thought, what is this abomination you've handed me? And the third job was serving popcorn at Crossroads movie theater in Bellevue. Those were very formative experiences. Did not get paid a whole lot for it. It wasn't something I was looking to support a family on. And yeah, I'll be quite frank, large in part was my parents kicking my butt out the door to go make something of myself and just get these life experiences under my belt and understand what it's like to be employed, get a paycheck, budget, tithe, work with a team, have a boss, have different bosses, so you learn how to interact with the good ones and the bad ones and so on and so forth. So it's very troubling that to some degree, again, part of this equation is I think younger workers have been priced out of the market. And there's an abundance of other reasons, too, that are mentioned in this article. Do you remember some of your earliest jobs, Angela?
I do, but let me just say this first. You are correct in that the one thing I'm agreeing with on this is that I would roll my eyes, to your point.
I know. I knew it was coming. I preempted it.
I realized, I was like, what?
Preempted.
Minimum wage? What?
Yeah.
No, the article is pointing out that is not exactly what's happening, that it has to do with teens just opting out because they feel like, for example, the teens I know, they did these summer medical things. They did things that would enhance their resume, and they're not applying for jobs. So I don't know about the minimum wage argument. We can debate it.
Sure.
But I guess let me address this point. Is there value to having them versus doing something that's college prep? And for me personally, it is a divide in our household because my husband feels like do something college prep related that's going to position you down the road. I feel like I worked, to answer your question, I worked at Popeyes at the drive-thru, and I had to scrub floors, and I had to deal with people, and I had to deal with coworkers who are from different walks of life. And I value that experience. And so I've encouraged my daughter to get a regular job. And so she's working at a doggy daycare. She has to pick up poop and deal with all kinds
Love it.
She has, and I don't know. Is he right? Am I right? I don't know. So yeah. What do you think of choosing to do something college prep versus having a plain old job at Taco Bell?
And perhaps it's not a strict binary. It's not an either or. It could be a yes and type of situation here because there is inherent value in both. But I do think it's potentially wrong to forego some of those formative work experiences merely for and solely the college prep.
Well, they
aspect
have.
of it.
The people I know, their kids are not working those kind of. No.
And I think the data has shown that, and it's extremely unfortunate though. But again, it comes back also to this notion of sort of individualized, tailored experiences of self-formation and you getting ahead. And what do you need for your resume and your prospects and your future earnings potential? And I think we fundamentally shifted the conversation from what contribution can you make to society and what perspective can you gain in that process into how can you better yourself and your station in life. And I think we need to reframe it more towards, more conversation around a notion of a vocation and a calling rather than just a job.
Yeah.
There's a means to an end to get the money, to do for you and yours what you're going to. I think the conversation has shifted. That plays a part in this.
Yeah. Before you jump in, Chef, I want to add this because we've had several people text saying that they have kids who've been trying to find jobs and haven't been able to find any. And one theorized that they are having to compete with adults for those jobs.
Well, I mean, that can be true. Yeah. I mean, and Greg, I guess that backs up your point, but at the same time, like 46% of the people who work minimum wage jobs are adults. And like 60% of those are adults with kids who rely on a minimum wage job to provide for their family. And actually, interestingly, the Attorney General, Nick Brown, he was on the show about 10 days ago, I think it was. And he talked with us about his first experience at Taco Bell. And I think, Greg, you'll find this especially interesting.
Yeah.
Because he spoke about his time at Taco Bell is both educational and invaluable for him. Here's the AG.
I said it when I was running for office. Taco Bell truly changed my life. I started working there when I was 16, making $4.10 an hour minimum wage.
Yeah.
Working with people who get disrespected on the regular, working people who are trying, I was just a 16-year-old kid. I didn't really need the money in the true sense, but I was working with men and women, like that's how they fed their children. That gave me so much perspective. I was working with people who worked at Taco Bell and also served in the United States Army at the same time. And I was like, wait, hold up. The Army's not paying you enough to make sure that you can provide for your family. You still have to work at this low-end fast food job. It gave me so much perspective about how economies can be used to harm people and how government needs to do more to support people and create more economic opportunity. 2 years at Taco Bell, slanging tacos and coming home smelling like a fast food joint. Like, honestly, seriously, life-changing experience.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about Popeyes. I love that he shared that. And I think it's great that you're doing that some of these kids are college prepping and everything, if that's the path they're going down. But where do you get that kind of experience and perspective? And I don't know.
Yeah, and I think where the ideological disagreement starts to form is a very fascinating audio there from Nick Brown. But when he says the government can sort of help the economic situations, that's where the divide comes into play, because many people who are like-minded with me think government does best for economic situations when it tends to get out of the way. And then he's probably coming more from a perspective of the government can have more direct impact on making the situation better. And there's that constant kind of conversation back and forth about which one is it, less or more government. And conservatives often make the case, well, the more it intrudes into every aspect of private enterprise, the more difficult it is and the more onerous conditions are presented. And then there are those like me that say, man, if the government would just get its hands out of the pockets of these companies and stop regulating exactly, the minimum wage going up X amount of percent every year, we might see an increase in youth employment if you get out of the way and thus have more opportunities available to young people.
Didn't he make the point, though? I think he brought up government in the context of he had a coworker who they were in the military and having to work.
Army. Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's the government would be his direct employer, and if he's not making enough to live, then.
And I didn't know this conversation was going to take this turn, but I always come back to it. It smacks of sort of this whole like, what is a fair wage, or what is a living wage? So what is the standard of living that we want, that the government should be responsible for ensuring that people pay? Is it a 2-bedroom apartment? Is it 2,000 square foot house with 3 TVs?
Let me ask you a simple question.
No cars, access to public transit?
Let me ask you a simple question.
Yeah.
Do you believe that an adult working full time should be able to afford a place to live, food in their pantry,
yes,
and health care? Be able to take care of a kid?
It's almost like the premise of the question you can take issue with a little bit.
Like, do you think that a full-time working adult...
A place to live, though, varies dramatically.
No, I'm saying basic place to live.
Yeah.
A basic place to live, basic needs for their child, health care.
I don't think it's up to the government to ensure that. I think
an open market will dictate that.
An open market, yeah.
An open market would dictate that anyone with great resources can afford to squash the competition, because without government, Greg, we go back to the days
where... Well, I'm not saying no government, but yes.
Okay, but like open markets mean that we go back to the days where you can have your hand cut off in the sawmill and you have, and the company owes you nothing.
Right.
Children can work. In like before the days of minimum wage labor, I mean, you can exploit the heck out of people who are here illegally, for example, and pit them against people who have citizenship. I mean, minimum wage laws protect U.S. citizens as much as they help people here who are here undocumented.
So all three of us, I think, would concur, or maybe not, but let's see if we can agree on the initial premise, which is it's a problem that we don't have more young people involved in work. Is that appropriate to designate some form of agreement here?
That's a problem, but my greater level of concern is that we have adults in this country who work two full-time jobs and
that's
still
related.
can't afford the basic necessities of life.
Right. But my question is, how then do we change? How do we flip the script? How do we change it to where we are getting more people to have summer jobs in high school?
You make companies pay people fairly. You can't have companies
16-year-olds?
You can't. Everyone working needs to be paid for similar. It's different if we're talking experience level, but yeah, there should be. You shouldn't just undercut a 16-year-old because they're 16. If they're doing the same work as the person next to you with similar experience, then it should be similar. But I think where I'm going on this is that if you're a company with huge billion-dollar profits, you should be paying your employees enough to be able to live and afford a home. I get your point that home can vary and what it should look like. But I have to imagine if a person is going to take the time to have two jobs, they must really need it. Or they may be saying, hey, we'd like to be able to afford a vacation. I don't know why that person was working two jobs, but those are, So
do we need to change? And again, coming back to this topic of young people and them kind of exiting the workforce, does it start in the home? Does it start with families? Does it start with parents motivating their kids more to go out and find work?
Here's the whole, you know what, at the end of the day, I feel like the problem has become this ultra competitive environment of, it's the reason we have all the soccer leagues now, what do you call it, the select soccer leagues when they're 6 years old. And so what dropped is chores. And chores have been, I mean, research shows if we just make our kids do chores, that they'll actually be more emotionally stable, all the things. But because the kids are so busy, I can't even justify sometimes asking my kid to do two. And I see the schedule she just had.
When you optimize for academic performance and college attainment, what you lose is the ability to humanize your fellow man and the idea that you should be able to do things for yourself. Because otherwise you just create these individuals who expect everything to be done for them, and they've never had an opportunity to either work in service or provide for their own basic needs.
Well said.
Yeah, like don't do laundry, that kind of thing. All right, do we have time to get to this other story? Okay.
A quick one, yep.
Let's do this.
All right, let's talk really quick about e-bikes because you heard on the news the bikes could now be classified as motorcycles. A vehicle is not considered an electric-assisted bicycle if it can go faster than 20 miles per hour. And that means if you end up qualifying as a motorcycle, you may need a driver's license, a motorcycle endorsement, registration, insurance. And they're also looking at civil infractions for kids ages 12 to 16, as well as possible civil penalties for adults who provide electric motorcycles to kids younger than 16. How do you feel about e-bikes and e-scooters and...
I was first seduced by the technology when I first saw them.
Seduced.
Isn't that a good word?
Yes.
Because they look so easy. You can get someone to wear quicker. You don't have to get through all the traffic.
What a brilliant advancement. And it makes things easier. And we want more comfortable, leisurely lives. It kind of seems like a no-brainer. And then you get some data pouring in and you get more anecdotes that you yourself observe and you go, hold on, what problem were we trying to fix in the first place by the advance of these things? And furthermore, has there been a downside to the ubiquity of these things on streets all over major cities? Reports of injuries involving e-scooters and e-bikes in Seattle have climbed exponentially over the last 5 years. There was around 200 serious injuries on e-bikes and e-scooters just in the last year alone, and those numbers are only climbing the more we see these vehicles, or whatever you want to call them, all over the place. I've almost been mowed down by one of them on the streets of Seattle before. It was a really close call. It could have been a really traumatic incident, but I was missed by about an inch. It was one of those things where someone flew by me and I could feel the wind, like they were that close to me, and I thought that could have led to some serious injuries. There absolutely needs to be more regulation with these things. And furthermore, like any pro side of this argument, I sort of fail to see how it outweighs some of the cons here. Yeah. I mean, do you really buy the argument that, like, well, it's just another form of transportation and it really helps people get around more easily and so on and so forth? And those that don't have access to a car, it's helping them get from A to B better.
Listen, I, like you, have studied this issue, and I've seen how emergency room visits have skyrocketed since scooters came to be. So I think they're a great form of transportation. I just think helmets should be required. I love that Lime for the World Cup has incentivized helmets. I see people going down the street surrounded by cars on these scooters, no helmet. I'm just like, this is, and I get, you're probably thinking because you're like the free market and everyone be free and everyone have choice until
do I have that tone of voice when I say that too?
No, you don't. But until they go to the emergency room and they can't pay and the hospital has to absorb it and then they're making cuts and then it impacts all of us.
Concussions, skull fractures, broken arms, facial injuries, internal injuries, organs bleeding.
Driving up insurance costs. Okay, we're going to have to turn this around to happier topics. How about we agree to disagree? That always makes us feel good, right? Showing those examples, we can come together. We're going to do it next on the Gee and Ursula Show. Thanks for listening.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes. KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy. Pretty much hands off, They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
When temperatures rise, the Murphy Auction Company rolls out the biggest online heavy equipment auction of the summer. Bidding is underway now. On the block, find a huge assortment of heavy equipment, contractors' equipment, and vehicles, like 80 heavy trucks, 13 excavators, 5 backhoes, 9 forklifts, 3 skid steers, 2 asphalt pavers, and a 2002 Trail King 50-ton triaxle lowboy equipment trailer. Plus, A 2025 Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat with under 2,000 miles. Contractor's tools, attachments, roll-off boxes, lumber, and much more. Preview all items June 16th and 17th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our location in Marysville, 3803 136th Street Northeast. This is the auction you don't want to miss. For pictures and all details, visit murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, want to consider Aegis Living Respite Care, a short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
John Curley here. You know a smart thing to do right now? Upgrade your cooling now with Home Comfort Alliance. Choose a Lennox cooling system and get a heating system free. Their 60-second online price estimator makes it so easy. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com today.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
Hey, Jake Skorheim here. Summer means I have a laundry list of exterior home improvements to tackle and no time to do it. Fortunately, the team in the red van has me covered. And of course, I'm talking about Valentine Roofing, the pros that keep me off extension ladders and precarious positions. If your summer home improvement list has a new roof, siding, or a gutter upgrade, you owe it to your home to give Valentine Roofing a call. Once again, they've been awarded the 2025 Best in the Pacific Northwest Awards for Roofing by the Seattle Times. And it really comes down to two things: the best product backed by a lifetime warranty and exceptional customer service. They call that the Valentine Experience. It's seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and extra mile service. And right now, qualified homeowners can take advantage of $0 down, 0% financing with 6 months deferred interest when paid in full within the promotional period. Financing subject to approved credit. Call 206 Roofing to schedule your free estimate today. That's 206 Roofing. And remember, when you see the red Valentine van, you know your home is in good hands.
Digging in my yard, trying to lay a pipe. I hit a water line and now I have to pay a big fine. I should have called 811.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Parango and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Jazz Alley invites you to experience powerhouse vocalist and songwriter Judith Hill, blending soul, funk, R&B, and jazz into one unforgettable performance. Shows run June 11th through the 14th. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. Workers are preparing to take President Trump's name off of the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. The administration lost a last-minute appeal to keep the name up. The original court order stated that a name change requires an act of Congress. ABC's Peter Lombars has details on the appeals court coming ruling.
He pointed out that the Trump administration has been partially already complying with this order. The website, for example, the social media pages of the Kennedy Center, they no longer have Donald Trump's name. So he didn't really see how they can remove those parts of the name, but not remove the name from the building and argue this somehow would be an irreparable harm.
The World Cup crowds are already here in Seattle, with more arriving this weekend. KIRO News Radio's John Repp has a closer look.
If you have a ticket, you have a chance to participate in seismic history at Lumen Field. Pacific Northwest Seismic Network technician Douglas Gibbons says they're expecting beastquake-type levels.
It can detect me stomping up and down, and it can detect me jumping as well. So imagine 68,000 people in Lumen Field celebrating a goal, jumping up and down.
Outside the stadium, events and watch parties are cropping up everywhere, ranging from a floating barge on Elliott Bay to a fan experience at Seattle Center to libraries loosening up typical expectations on noise. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
A South King County Youth Sports Academy is returning 20 free World Cup tickets after a Somali refugee was denied entry to the U.S. federal officials. Omar Atan, Somali's first World Cup referee, was deemed inadmissible over vetting concerns. African Youth Sports Academy founder Ali Abdullah tells the Seattle Times it's heartbreaking to miss the matches, but he says it's important to stand with the Somali community. A new law regulating the use and requirements for e-bikes and motorcycles is now in effect. KIRO 7 TV's Griffin reports.
Dr. Beth Ebell sees a lot of people with trauma from electric bike crashes.
Many kids on these e-bikes, which go fast, they can go 25, 35 miles an hour.
Washington State Representative Janice Zahn tells us they're trying to prevent some of those injuries. The bill has two pieces. The first part enforces infractions and penalties for kids riding an e-bike or motorcycle under the age of 16. The second part establishes differences between electric bikes and motorcycles. The main difference is motorcycle riders are required by law to wear a helmet, register the vehicle, and have a proper license, but bike riders don't.
As temperatures rise this weekend, so does the risk of wildfires here in Washington. State Public Lands Commissioner Dave Upthegrove says roughly 80 to 90% of wildfires in our state are human-caused.
Make sure your campfire is out cold to the touch. If you're hauling your boat or your RV, make sure you don't have a chain dragging that causes sparks on the dry grass, and be careful where you park your vehicles on dry grass.
If you're working outside this weekend, make sure you have a shovel and water nearby just in case there's a spark. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. The Valley Freeway is about a half an hour right now from the Puyallup area to Renton. There's a few brake lights right now on 405 northbound. It'll take you about 25 minutes from Renton to Bellevue. Federal to Seattle Drive is about 40 minutes right now, and coming down out of Snohomish County, it's about 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle. This traffic report is brought to you by KIRO News Radio. For your weather, sunshine today and into the weekend. Right now, it's about 62 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Greetings, Gee and Ursula Show. Greg Tomlin and Angela Poe Russell in today on this Funky Fresh Friday. Time to agree to disagree.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
And Agree to Disagree is brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters. I guess I'm going to make it personal here, and this feels pretty uncomfortable because I guess the overarching question here, is it ever okay for a parent to root for their child to fail? And
give context because the headline
I know,
sounds bad.
Because I'm already
Chef.
painting myself in a bad light here. So, Angela, you asked what I'm doing this weekend, and I said, without thinking, it is hopefully my son's last baseball game tonight because we're at tournament season. It has been a long baseball season for us. We are now in the losers bracket, and so we have one game to play. If we win, we continue to play, and if we lose, we're done for the year. And I am personally exhausted. I am exhausted with the whole season. My son, thank God, is in school and can't listen to the radio, nor will he be playing this podcast. So I guess I'm admitting, I want it to be over. Angela, is it ever okay to?
No, knock it off.
Really?
You will root for him to win. And if they lose, you'll see that as a positive consequence of losing that you get to be done. So that's how you'll reframe it. You're going to, you want them to do their best. You want them to shine. And then you'll just be, when you lose, you'll be like, well, at least we get to go home early. But you cannot do that. Knock it off.
It is absolutely okay to root for your kid to lose. And I found myself doing that a little bit during my son's baseball season as well. Not only because mom and dad are exhausted just trafficking the kid back and forth from practices and games. Bad use of the phrase, okay? Moving along. But furthermore, kids learn more when they lose. And you know what I see when kids win and win constantly? I see egotism, pride, vainglory start to creep in. You think, oh, nothing's in my way, and I conquer all, and I'm the best at everything. You learn far more having to walk through those early formative experiences in sports by losing, because in life, many times you have to have a short memory, and something's going to sting and something's going to hurt for a while, and you've got to learn how to get over it. And if you spend the season winning it all, I don't see a lot more good lessons coming out of that than dealing with the hardship, the adversity, the difficulty.
Greg, there's so much to consume there because basically you argued not only that it's okay to root for your child's team to lose, but
Not
also
every game.
it is perhaps better for them to be on a losing overall
that's a way
team.
to frame it.
It is. I learned way more from the losses growing up
I
than I
didn't
did
learn
from the
much.
wins.
Nope.
You're shaking your whole head the whole time. I want to hear it.
Okay, keep in mind. Well, I guess the first thing, my daughter's team used to lose a lot, and I'm sorry. I don't feel like we're better for it.
Not
I would have
fun.
much rather been on the other side. But here's what I'll tell you. Both of you are in a different season of life than I'm in.
That's right. yeah.
My kids have graduated, and I will tell you that one day you will long for those tournament days. I miss that so much. I miss the traveling. I miss the long, hot days outside with your drinks and your snacks and people crying because they made.
So you weren't a soccer parent on those freezing bleachers, is what you're saying?
I was in all of it. Yeah,
Okay.
but I enjoyed those times. So one day you're gonna crave these moments. So I'll say just enjoy the ugly, the beauty, all the in between, and realize it's fleeting.
Well, and what we've realized too is that there is a lesson to be had no matter what the experience is on the ball field. So win or lose, bad coach, good coach, bad great teammates, bad teammates. None of it is wasted, right? And I think I used to be fooled into this notion as a parent of I want my kid on the winning team with the best coach and the best friends and the most wonderful parents. And I'm like, wait, if that's the goal, one, you will try to manipulate the situation into your favor, which is always a disaster because it never pans out the way you want. And two, you're missing the opportunities that are right under your kid's nose to go, oh, you have a bad coach this year? This is not going to be a wasted season. You're going to learn something from this, how to deal with someone who is a difficult person. And furthermore, you might have a boss when you grow up that's difficult to get along with. But you learned a lot when you were in baseball and you had that tough coach. How did you navigate that situation at the time? So nothing is wasted if you use the experiences properly.
And can I add one? Oh, no, we got
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
One other footnote. If you have a kid or a grandkid in sports right now, my big advice, having gone through it, is prioritize the team that is focused on your kid's development when they're really young and not winning. Because when they just focus on winning, your kid often doesn't get to try different positions. They don't get to take risks because everything is about winning.
So good, yes.
I love, go to the team that's focused on their development as a player and human.
Okay. That's good advice.
Yep.
425 says, what a selfish thing for a parent to say.
No, he's just
You know what?
tired. He's just tired.
I'm being honest.
Yeah, I like it.
You know,
Candid.
Okay, I guarantee that half the parents in the stands at this point of the season are feeling exactly the same way that I am. They just don't say it out loud.
Y'all are just tired.
I'm just being a martyr for the rest of you who can't say things. All right. When I was looking for scenarios, and today in Slate, I saw this advice column question. I don't even need to get to the question. The headline was literally, my son's pre-K graduation party was ruined by my drunken brother-in-law. And Greg, I saw a pre-K graduation party. My daughter is in pre-K right now. She will be going to kindergarten next year. I have heard of high school graduations. I've heard of, sixth grade graduation.
Yeah.
I've even heard of the kindergarten graduation. But today, it was the first time in my history I've run across the words in the same sentence, pre-K and graduation party.
That's wild. Yes. I actually heard from someone earlier this week whose third grader was graduating.
From what?
Okay. What I like about what my kid's school has done is, so I've got a son who's going from 6th to 7th grade, and they are holding a ceremony for that class, but they're calling it a moving on up ceremony. And I thought, okay, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, moving on up to the next stage.
To middle school.
But the word graduation carries a pretty heavy load that I think should only be designated
completion of a journey.
We're continuing ceremony or keep it rolling ceremony. Fine.
Oh, you're asking the wrong person about this. But I have.
Did you make
loathed
cupcakes
all
for
the
pre-K
developments.
graduation?
No, I have not been into these big celebrations and everything. And I'm the worst because my daughter was valedictorian of high school. She was commencement speaker. And she said, Mom, I know I don't expect a lot, but it would be cool to maybe get a card, like a graduation card. We had a dinner, like a dinner of close family, and That's kind of it.
You're like, we celebrated every moment in your journey, sweetheart. The winning and the losing.
So I feel like I'm on the opposite end, and I probably should. But so in general, we are partying ourselves to death. We are having 16th birthday parties that are like weddings. When I say we, I mean as a culture.
Yeah.
I mean, prom has now become like parents have a party and the kids have a party.
Wait, what?
I mean,
You know what you should tell your daughter?
what?
Tell her that it's human nature.
Why? Congratulations.
You know what? Give the 5-year-old some cupcakes. Who
Listen,
cares?
I'm
Don't
a
make
Gen
it a big deal.
Xer.
They
I'm a
love
Gen
it.
Xer whose parents were like, yeah, it's just high school. You haven't done anything yet. Yeah.
Greg Tallman, Angela Poe, Russell in on the Gee and Ursula Show. Thanks for hanging with us on this glorious Friday here in the Northwest. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news, capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Hey, it's G. Scott. Let's talk real for a sec. Summer is supposed to be about sunshine and kids having fun. But when the kids are home all day, that grocery bill, yeah, it grow fast. That's why I want you to know about Sunbucks and why our friends at Safeway are helping get the word out. If your family qualifies, you can receive $120 per child to spend on groceries this summer, food in your cart, and a little less pressure on that budget. And let me be clear about this. There's no catch, no judgment. This program is simply about making sure kids have enough to eat when school is out. Here's the important part. Many families are enrolled automatically, and a card may already be headed to your mailbox. But some families do need to apply depending on income and where you live. So take a couple minutes and check. Visit freesummermeals.org. That's freesummermeals.org. Safeway, looking out for your family this summer. Once again, that's freesummermeals.org.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
$83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise. There's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
A shot to center field. Julio is there, and Julio makes the catch!
At T-Mobile Park, you've always got the best seat in the house, even when there's not an actual seat, because you're in the T-Mobile pen.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
The pen isn't just the perfect space to hang with your whole crew. It's where you can see Julio defend the no-fly zone 1 minute and watch Senor Smoke get ready for his big entrance the next.
Andres Munoz has simply been incredible.
Sure, the pen is standing room only, but with a team this exciting, who wants to be sitting down? Mariners baseball. Try this up.
With Mariners value games, you can score tickets under $12 on select dates all summer, including June 16th through 18th against the Orioles. Plus, on Thursday the 18th, the first 15,000 fans will take home a Mariners Stars and Stripes soccer jersey thanks to Alaska Airlines. Get your tickets today at mariners.com. That's mariners.com.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
All right, it's time to get to some of your text messages.
All right, on the subject of the family of a child that was pepper sprayed, I would say inadvertently, at a 2020 protest in Seattle, but were paid $150,000. Carrie in Bonnie Lake says, my kids were at that event. It was calm and family friendly until that pepper spraying happened. My kids and everyone around them panicked because they thought someone was attacking the crowd. It was not a scary or fractious gathering until the pepper spraying started. The parents were there with their church congregation.
Joseph in Tacoma, it was very small children who moved the civil rights movement forward, including Ruby Bridges, who had to be escorted to school by 4 federal marshals, and the 3 black girls killed when their church was bombed. I think it was 4, but the point is there were children that were part of the civil rights movement.
On the subject of AI toys for kids, the future is now. B in Puyallup writes, I had a Teddy Ruxpin bear in the 80s. That thing creeped me out. My older cousin would use it as a boombox and play Ozzy Osbourne on it. Okay.
You can do that?
I think it just had cassette tapes in its backside or
Is
something.
it weird that this makes me think of that horror film Chucky?
Yeah, totally.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about.
Absolutely.
All right, we have the world's first trillionaire and the space companies people like him invest in. Georgia in Tacoma. How about making your next goal saving humanity, not abandoning it?
And Jesus in Tacoma says, you know what?
I would love to have Jesus from Tacoma.
Our Lord and Savior from Tacoma. No, it's just about money and greed. For decades, space was mostly the domain of governments. Now the libertarian dragons have realized there's money to be made, and they're rushing in, swooping in.
Okay, Tom, I think it's great that Elon Musk is trying to get to outer space. Kind of wish you'd take Trump with him.
Infrastructure deferrals, right? The city reduced its general fund contributions to street repair and pavement overlay work by $1 million.
All right, Everett wants to use eminent domain to seize houses and businesses to build a new baseball stadium. 567 says, my dad operated a printing shop in downtown Tacoma, right next to the old Wells Fargo print shop. The city of Tacoma sent letters to both building owners stating the University of Washington was going to move into the buildings and that they needed to sell. If they refused, the properties would be condemned. Cities don't take into account the small businesses that have been there for years. It's totally ridiculous.
Andrew, did I just pull a Ron Burgundy when I read
No, I
deferrals?
had other copy in there because I get lost.
But I read what was ever on that teleprompter. Is that a mistake? Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to point out I'm not a complete idiot.
No, that was me.
It took me 5 seconds to realize that's not a texter.
That's completely unlearned. Thank you for at least peeling back the curtain so people have some context on the fact that,
all right.
Yes, it was not you.
206, I think this is an official text. If you're against public funding for stadiums, are you for public funding for homeless housing?
All right. Well, we've had a wonderful time on the show today. Why are you laughing?
Nothing. We're just moving on.
Yeah. So shall we get to Ursula's words to live by?
Please. Am I going to do it today? Do I have the
you
honors?
had that quote. Yes.
I had this quote, and when you hear something and then you trace it back to its origins and you go, oh, I didn't know Socrates said that. And then you do 3 more searches and you realize, no, Socrates didn't say that. It was just someone in 2015 that put something on the internet and it turned out to be a meme. Regardless, I like the sentiment in this quote.
Okay, let's do it.
At the intersection where your gifts, talents, and abilities meet a human need, therein you will discover your purpose.
I love that.
I tend to agree with that.
Awesome. Well, let's check in with Nick for what's on his mind.
Well, how much do our sports teams really dominate our time? When we ride the highs and lows of every game watched on a dime, does it take over so much you miss on details life can lend? Getting to the point where kids are making artificial AI friends? But I wouldn't call them lazy if that's all they've learned to know, unlike giving up on baseball tournaments to end their show. You can hope for a loss, but I wouldn't go as far as pulling a chef alluding to throwing the game. Let them lose with some effort under their belt, for crying out loud.
Well, you are never going to live that down. Nick, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick.
Are you doing okay, Chef? We
fine.
know you're not selfish. I think it's exhausting. I mean, being a parent in general is exhausting.
Yeah.
And I think being real, we all have those moments where we're like, dude, I need a break. And so I see you.
I'm coaching.
I know that
It's
you're
fine. I'm
you're
not
an
literally
amazing
ready to
dad.
fail.
You're an amazing dad.
You don't need to salvage my reputation here. Please.
I'm being honest.
Leave it intact.
I'm being.
You're good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you.
You are enough, and we love you.
That was perfect. That's a better words to live by. Thank you, Greg.
Well, Chef, you are the engine of this show. Thank you so much for all you did this week to just keep us together and keep the show together. And thank you all for listening. Up next, Jake and Spike. Have a wonderful weekend, and thank you, Greg.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, I understand there may be a news story coming out.
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can choose the best coverage option for you. Because you know you. Like, you know that hiking isn't for you. Sure, it sounds nice to be in nature while exercising, but that's what a gym and houseplants are for. I mean, you don't even like walking upstairs. So why would you walk up a hill for miles? To what, end up high in the air? Come on, you know you're scared of heights. Only you know you. So get coverage options within your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add 1 line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.